Hello, board members. How we doing this lovely bonus stream slash makeup stream Monday afternoon? Well, I hope. To be straight up with you all, due to technical difficulties, we're going to call it technical difficulties, a section of Murders on the Yangtze River was deleted before I had a chance to upload it to our lovely YouTube board members. So we're going to go back and we're just going to do a refresher, a nice little reshoot of this one section, the first half of chapter 3 with the flashback, I believe is kind of what they call this one. I'll bring the music back in here. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this module, and I think this module is worth, like, you know, getting a proper playthrough. For no other reason, it has a lot of story and important elements, so I can't just skip it and describe what happened like I did with Tactical Breach Wizards, where that one section that went away for whatever reason was mostly just me trying to solve like some puzzles on a train. You didn't miss too much story there, but with this is like all story on top of each other. I can't skip a chapter in this. So we're gonna be returning to this. Luckily, the way this works out, I think it was chapter 3. Oh, it's actually technically chapter 4? Oh, okay. Chapter 3 into chapter 4. But yeah, well, basically we're just picking up here at the end of this section, going into the, what we're going to find out is a flashback, everybody. But welcome, I swear I'm not an elk. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a good day. It's all thanks to you, Mr. Shin, that the matter of the foreman Ting is settled. It is just performing my duties. It is not worth mentioning. It's too bad that Robinson ran away. Don't let him get away with this, Mr. Lee. I promise I will do my best to deal with Robinson. Which, I mean, we just found out that Robinson was technically working with evil European steel magnates to basically undermine the locally sourced and created steel for the purposes of making them a bunch of money. Shouldn't I like to have a few words with Afu in private? Would that be... Doesn't even get a chance to finish. Afu, I'll wait for you outside. Afu, I thought you looked familiar ever since I saw you. Could you be the son of Mr. Huzu? Oh, and over on the raid. Welcome, raiders. Welcome, Ika. How's it going? How's it go for me? Pretty good. We got rained out at work, so I got a half day, so I figured I'd come home, do an early stream, be able to get my workout in as I was kind of hoping to do, and then, I don't know, I'm waiting to hear from someone else if there's something else I need to end up doing tonight. We'll see what happens. Man, this weekend has been a lot. But I hope you're all doing well. Look, do I look that much like him? Of course. Being so knowledgeable at such a young age is quite a spitting image of him. Back when your father was the deputy administrator of the ironworks, I was just a greenhorn. It's hard to imagine what Mr. Deputy Administrator used to be like. Ha 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 ha. Afu, have you seen the books in the library? Or laboratory? Yep, I read them all super attentively a long time ago. Those books were all written and translated by your father. Alas, it's a shame God is jealous of talents, that explosion. Your Honor, that's all in the past. Yes, people need to look forward. Don't worry, Your Honor. I'll keep passing down the knowledge of physics. Excellent. Like father, like son. Come back and visit Haiyang often, alright? This is your home. I will. You can't bonk me, I raided. It's true, it is a raid. Sorry to keep you waiting. Huh? There's a good smell coming off of you, Shen. Which is such an odd thing to say. Sniff, 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 sniff. Here you go. Sesame cake? You might as well help me check to see if it's laced with any knockout drugs. Let me just eat it with his gloves on. All done, sweet and crispy, no poison whatsoever. Let's have it at him. Concerned, Doge? Yeah. This is because we know that in this last investigation, someone had just gotten poisoned with Or was it the last one? It was either this one or the... Like, each of the last investigations, someone had been poisoned with rice cakes, and so it's just kind of a joke. Huh? Aren't you going to eat any, Shen? I'm not a fan of sweets. Moreover, a food... Let's get going, shall we? Let's check in with you. Mr. Patrolman, what are you doing here? Old Chow can't find Awu, so he asked me to help out. Sir, you should go and look around the courtyard. We saw Awu secretly burying this morning's slag under the camphor tree in the courtyard. Miss Wynn smiled and took a photo of Awu when he noticed his face was all as red as an apple. He insisted that he wasn't burying slag, but actually helping the tree loosen soil. He's so stubborn, that little donkey boy. I forgot about the donkey boy thing. Ha 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 ha. Donkey boy. I don't remember seeing the tree slag thing. We must have missed that somehow. Old Lee, now that the case is solved, you can finally take a break. Thanks to you two, the statue situation has... the statue situation has finally settled down. No one's afraid of entering the office now, right? Not at all. Everyone's saying that Foreman Ting lives inside that statue now. Foreman Ting will bless us, and bless the ironworks too. That's one way of understanding, I guess. The helpers are willing to take over my work now. Mr. Lee allowed me to take a few days off. That's just like an old farmer entering the Imperial City. There's a first time for everything. I'm going to head on home and take a nap. After that, I'll still have to come and keep watch. You can't have any mistakes for something that important. What a day off, eh? T12, welcome. I'm happy to see you. Hope you're doing well. You here for our little makeup stream, I assume? Hey, Auntie, what are you still doing here? I thought you departed. I feel like that's a double dig on the fact that she's an older lady. You rascal, what a terrible thing to say. Oh, okay, I didn't remember them. Don't be upset, Auntie. I was just worried that you didn't have any time to rest. Wait, how you doing, T12? Ika, how are you? How was your Yuging? And Ice Rim Not an Elk, what are you up to? Did you work today? Sleep okay? How's your elbow? After all, you're the most amazing coroner across the world. Don't flatter me. Your detective is much more skillful in his abilities. I'm not worthy of your praise, Auntie. Why are you acting all modest? Even I was almost fooled during the case from before. You were able to see through the trickery. The Yuging was good? That's good to hear. Take a rest, Auntie. See you around. I'd rather not. What are the odds a coroner and a detective run into each other? Someone must have died. Fair. Won all my duels, even the one I should have lost because I bricked too hard. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Oh yeah, we still got to figure out what we're gonna do with Start-a-Lot or whatever. Have you finished handling everything here? Yes, I have uncovered the truth, and the ironworks will resume production very soon. Li Ai is an old friend of mine. He regards this ironworks as his own life. Hee. Mr. Shen, Golden Words Publishing House has replied to your telegram. What does the telegram say? Supervisor Arcadia Fang is familiar with the book The Confined Room Mystery and is willing to help. That's great. Shen, let's go to Yang Chao right away. Come on aboard. Do you come up with a new name for it every time? I guess. Chandelar. Okay, Chandelar. Ting's determined shadow clears up the night. The moon in Haiyang is shining bright. Look at what is made in Haiyang today. Watch and wonder as flames burst into waves. My inspiration is flowing. Which of these should I use as the new headline? Oh no! Don't just sit still yet. Wait for me! I just want to see her run and like jump and like miss to fall into the water or something. Or she catches it and like drags herself on board. You gotta love these interesting long shots like this. Yeah, Chandelar, though. We gotta figure out when we're gonna do Chandelar. I mean, obviously, I think the best day for us, if we're gonna co-stream it or whatever, is gonna probably be, like a Monday, right? Because you're off on Mondays, and I don't have normal stream on Mondays. It'd have to be a little bit more in the afternoon for you, because, I mean, I couldn't start till 3, but we could make it, I mean, technically I could do it next Monday, I think? Assuming, yeah, I mean, assuming everything goes normal with D&D this week, which hopefully it should. Even until today, das Ho Seron, Boarding, Heibi, Giang, Guazhou, Jiang, Mountain, Henyan, still use the steel rails made by the Haiying Iron Works. We can go for that then next Monday? Okay. Please come in. Oh, okay, she did make it. Miss Wen, is there something you need? I came to, apologize for the hasty interrupting the suicide note. Or interpreting the suicide note. I almost led everyone astray. Please don't blame yourself. Without your help, we couldn't have solved the case. Indeed, you tricked Ho into lying and got him caught. That was truly brilliant. The Illuminol reagent was the real module changer. We can say we've become acquainted through this experience. If you ever need an assistant in the future, feel free to ask. Right now, there's something I'd like to ask for your help with. Is it about adding science knowledge to your articles? Actually, I'd like to interview you two detectives. Interview? I'm preparing a detective-themed newspaper column. I hope to use this to promote logical reasoning in science. Alas, most people I've met claiming to be detectives are almost always frauds. Shen is different. He's a genuine and reliable detective. That's true. I want to turn your experiences into articles and let more people know. No pressure, just tell me about the cases you've worked on. Speaking of cases, Shin and I actually met through a case on this ship. This one's interesting. Please go ahead and tell the story. It was 2 years ago. Shin, why don't you go ahead and tell the story? It was on a night 2 years ago. A night like tonight. It's the daytime. Shut up. That was my first time boarding the Shawnee. But yeah, we can go for next Monday about 3 o'clock then, and I'll let you stream it, and I'll just Discord in and give you the business about it. I mean, you won't... I mean, I only have a basic understanding of magic, so it's not like I'm going to be 10 steps ahead of you, but I can at least fill you in on the basic stuff. To play cards well, you must speculate. Once you know the entire deck played from memory. This module is one. I think I won? Lethal Company, sorry, I'm well, thank you. That's good to hear. Yeah, but I surrendered now.
It's time to duel!
I mean, not yet. That's next week, but yeah, we're getting there for sure. 2 feet of blue, Hongxiang on the table. It's the delightful beauty. I knew Yin Shu was going to win again. Yin Shu is on a roll. I've got a stroke of bad luck. Better discard this hand for a better one. Yin Shu's the golden child of our family. It's totally natural she gets lucky everywhere. Your luck isn't half bad, Yin Ju. You got to strike when the iron is hot. I guess Jiao? It's probably Yin Jiao. Otherwise, you'd still be stuck with that 9 of characters card. Not everyone can strike when the iron is hot. Those who are incompetent will only get burned. Ling Shen, look at your sister and sister-in-law. One lucky and the other proactive. We better watch out or else our chips will be snatched away by these 2 women. There won't be any snatching, just taking what is rightfully ours. Well, they're also playing card modules in this mod. That's true. I guess they are kind of dueling right now. You're not wrong. I don't know anything about how you play this. You can take my chips if you want, to men. I don't mind. Look at that. Yin Chu understands respect for seniority. No wonder Father loved her the most when he was still alive. Yin Chu, if you're giving your chips to 10 men, why not give us 2 as well? All of my chips are here. You 3 can split it however you like. I was only joking. There's no need to be so serious about it. None of these chips even matter. It's not even a full deck. We're just passing time. 8 character cards are missing. There's no point in playing when someone is a sore loser. Why don't we play something else? Teach us how to play poker, Yin Chu. I don't know anything about playing poker. Ah, come on now, Yin Chu. Don't be modest. When I was cleaning up your luggage yesterday, I saw several decks of poker cards. Oh? Yin Zhao. You... What's wrong? You think you're too good for us geezers now that you're savvy? No, I don't. I know how to play draw poker. Go on, Yin Chu. Just bring the cards to the table. Ugh. Us woos shouldn't be playing Westerners modules. Father never liked these in his lifetime. Father was an antique, and you're so old it's like you haven't even been unearthed. How treacherous, going against Father's teachings before he's even buried. The weird knife thing is odd to me. Yeah, sure, of course you're right. I don't think we should even be playing Mahjong cards. I'm tired. I'm going back to my cabin. Yin Chu, teach me how to play poker later. Tenmu can keep to his ways, but I like to learn. Overhearing the guests at the next table while drinking tea is quite an interesting experience. That's Master Wu to men, Madam Yan and Miss Yin Chu. First Mate Wu's family members. I'm sorry if the loud conversation disrupted you two. What I meant was they each seemed like they were talking about the module when they weren't. It was all very tongue-in-cheek, beating around the bush and in between the lines. Joseph, I see you've learned quite a few new idioms. Rain or shine. Even if I learned every idiom, it's still nothing compared to the subtleties of Chinese. Soda, the cola water. Where has our ship reached? Burp. The shipmaster said the Lung King Temple is just up ahead. Oh, I forgot about Lung King. The Lung King Temple? Ling Shin, why didn't you tell me you were almost at the Lung King Temple? Go ask Shipmaster Lu to set off firecrackers and bring out the offerings prepared. What? Offerings? How could there be any offerings on this steamboat? I'm talking about chicken, fish, pork. I told you about this before we came on board. You have no idea what the Lung King is capable of. Back then, I told you there aren't any. Enough with your banal gibberish. Physics is all the rage now. There's no arguing with you. Hey, you over there. Did you hear what I just said? Go talk to the shipmaster. Me? Okay. All you do is order people around. Why don't you go yourself? I need to stay here and recite the Diamond Sutra to ensure the safety of this ship. Turns out Lung Kings probably don't like diamonds. Which is weird, because once we find out what a Lung King is, and you're gonna be like, wait, don't they love diamonds? Elle, have you seen Hao Chu? No, he's not here. I can't find him anywhere. He must be hiding somewhere drinking again. Come give me a hand. Coming, Uncle Ling. Master Wu, I'll go find Shipmaster Lu once I'm done helping Uncle Ling. Just the general confusion. I'm like, alright, whatever. John, have you heard the legends about the waters of the Lung King Temple? I'm unfamiliar. I read about it in the newspaper, which said that there have been many strange shipwreck incidents. Our neighbor seems to be someone who has first-hand experience. Could you learn more about it for me? I very suddenly developed a keen interest in the matter. Of course. Seems like you caught the scent of another case. Seeing eye to eye, great minds think alike. I forgot some of these get long. Doubt raised. Loon King Temple legends. Now we might have some stuff in here that's from the future, so don't freak out. Okay, facts. Okay. There's the opera. I thought there was one thing in here. Oh yeah, Mahjong card. Oh yeah, Waters of the Loon King Temple. Here we go. What's this one? What are they named for the playing of cards in China in the early 20th century when Western playing cards were introduced to Shanghai? The popular module was 21, so people at that time referred to Western playing cards as Quan Di Wen, which is the translation of 21 in Chinese. Sun Yizhang, a writer in the late Qing dynasty, explicitly recorded the popularity of Western playing cards in Shanghai at the time of the 19th chapters of his novel Sequel to the Dreams of Shanghai Splendor. Defeated in Quan Di Wen 3 times, you drank a glass of brandy in 1 mouthful for each. Waters of the Loon King Temple. I like this very like modern looking like 70s photo, by the way. The Waters of the Loon King Temple, originally inspired by the real-life Master Temple waters, are located within the territory of Zhang County. Jingnai Province serves as the sole passage from Poyang Lake into the Yangtze River Basin. The terrain here is complex, and over the past half-century, more than 100 ships have disappeared, earning the nickname the Bermuda of the East. Folklore attributes these shipwrecks to the mischievous turtle spirit associated with the Master Temple, leading sailors to offer incense and sacrifices when passing through. The Waters of the Loon King Temple in the module are fictionalized based off these settings. So it's sort of real, sort of not. We'll worry about that one later. Mahjong cards, I think, comes up later also, so we'll worry about those later. Oh, did we miss some, like, don't look at any of this? Oh, okay, this is just the, like, wrapping up stuff. That's nice that they actually leave this stuff unlocked so that if you go back and play through it, you can check on this stuff. Whoa, whoa, why is that? Okay. Oh, Stargazy Pie. Okay, that's gonna come up. There's an obituary on the table. Famous Haojin tea merchant Wu Ashan passed away in Hangzhou at the age of 78. Clock on the wall. There's a Western clock hanging on the wall. The time displayed is 9:30. It is getting late. Whoa, what's that noise? Sounds like a bell ringing in the engine room. Okay, newspaper on Joseph's table. The Waters of the Loon King Temple have a bad reputation. Ever since countless countless ships capsized here, a series of bizarre tales have emerged. Rumor has it that there's a water monster in the waters. Some it looks like a white loon. To others, it's an open umbrella with eyes all over it. A very Cthulhian sounding thing, by the way. Also, I liked the unique magic hat going on here. There are also people who have witnessed a glowing disc floating in the sky. And aliens, of course. A few years ago, a strange case of missing transport took place here as well. For more information on what happened next, please follow this reporter's next story. This report introduces the mysterious legends of the Waters of the Loon King Temple. Strange case of missing transport once took place here. I can call a newspaper reporting the legends of the Loon King Temple. Talk to Joseph or the cookware. There's a sweet potato conge emitting a pleasant smell stewing inside the pot. Oh, I don't need the cookware. I need First Mate Wu. Mr. Shin, I'm preparing a midnight snack. You can come have a taste later. What have you prepared, Mr. Ling Shin? Borscht, rosemary roast chicken, Welf pudding paired with red Bordeaux. Oh, by the way, I heard you've been to the UK. I've also prepared a Stargazy pie. This is where the Stargazy pie pops up. Iggy, welcome. How you doing, friend? We have returned back to this to get ourselves another recording of this section. But how you doing? And then, of course, the Stargazy pie, which I wasn't sure what this was. I'm like, these kind of look like fish heads, but they also kind of like don't look like fish heads. So these are fish heads. And it's to prove that the fish are fresh in the pie. I'm good. Good to hear, Iggy. Perhaps it's my trigger your nostalgia for those days and make you miss them like I do. You are too kind, Mr. Ling Shen. However, I'm unintentionally overheard your brother asking about sacrificial offerings? It's an abomination. I mean, that's one way to put it, Ika. Since there's chicken and fish for dinner, you didn't need to worry about him. What's there to worry about? He can starve if he wants to. What is the reason behind your brother's unease towards these waters? This is where our family once lost everything when we were transporting a batch of silver. Tin Man was supposed to escort the goods with the ship, but luckily he was delayed. It's understandable that your brother still harbors concerns for narrowly escaping death. I'm so sick of his bland and banal gibberish. Nowadays, physics is all the rage. Mr. Shen, having stayed abroad, I'm sure you understand how I feel, right? Sorta? Engine room. The door leading to the engine room is locked from the inside. It's bad as sun tea, I would argue. Wow. That is truly an insult for you people. For me, that's like, oh, it's actually probably pretty good then. An incomplete Mahjong card. The other character card left is 9 of characters. Newspaper. Joseph Isakrit Bell. Isakrit Bell is the new prosecutor of the Shanghai International Settlement. Mr. Joseph will assume office within this month. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I started on milk. You missed Seltzer drinking Milkus last night. Sounds like I missed something. It's nothing of importance then. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed the Milkus. It was like a less sweet, cream soda. Yes, but your tastes are wrong. Oh, well, I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't have your pure British tea-loving tastes. An anti-yogurt sentiment for some reason? Go put on your wrong hat? Okay. My wrong hat, you say? Alright. Okay, I got two. I've got 2 that are technically wrong hats. Do you want... Oh, wait, you know what? We have 3. We have 3 that are wrong hats. That are like hats, but, you know, wrong. So I've got not just the wrong hat, but I've also got the long hat. Do we want the long hat? We got the long hat, that's the wrong hat. Do we have the king of the right and wrong? So we can be right and or wrong. Right? Or I can wear this hat, which is technically not a hat, but is like a beanie thing. So it's the wrong hat because it's not actually a hat. It's a semi-transparent beanie. Option 3, we want the semi-transparent beanie because it's technically not even a hat. Fair enough. Oh, I forgot about those 2. Technically, we also have the dinosaur and the fish, which are both not very good hats. Forgot about those. Option 3, I like the kiwi pattern. Is that a kiwi pattern? Wait, hold on. Is there like a... I'm trying to remember, does this light up? Wait. Oh, it does light up. Okay, I was thinking like, I think this one lights up. The bottom band? Oh, okay. There, it even lights up for you all. So not only is it not a good hat, it's also technically a flashlight, sort of. Alright, there we go. Plus, it's nice and warm. It's kind of cold in the office right now. Okay, Wu T-Man. Almond, okay. He's just saying his prayers. Mr. Wu, there is something I would like to ask you. Screen? Oh, screen, yes. Screen, thank you. Oh, it's Mr. Shin. Go on ahead. When you mentioned the incident at the Loon King Temple back then, I wonder... says some prayers. Again, some prayers. That incident was too uncanny, and now this ship is filled with mourning. It's much too grim. I can't talk about it anymore. Prayers. That was a longer one. Okay, what's your deal? Miss Yin Shu? Sorry, I just remembered there's something I need to do. Goodbye. Runs off mysteriously. These stairs lead to the deck. I will not go up there just yet. For reasons. For reasons. Where first? Alright, Joseph? Joseph, will changing our route affect your appointment? It's my honor to be able to accompany you in bringing Brian back to his hometown. As the saying goes, falling leaves settle on their roots. May his soul rest in peace. Oh. The effeminate boy is back. Shipmate L. Ling Xin, is the shipmaster's sweet potato congé ready? I'll deliver it to him. That lady knows something. Give chase. There's not even a crime yet. We don't even know that there's a crime has been committed yet. It's ready. Come and get. It's ready. Come and get. Hey, you. Did you go ask about what I instructed you to? What did the shipmaster say? Or the shipmaster said, we don't have any firecrackers on board. What do we do now? I bet you didn't explain the stakes at hand properly. Listen to me. Just tell him that... The framing of that painting is criminal. Yeah, I mean, like the weird photorealistic art mixed in with the hand-drawn backgrounds, it's gonna be a little weird. Never mind, I'll deliver it myself. I do like their weird little delivery boxes. Master Wu, you're talking too fast. I can't remember everything. How about I accompany you to where Shipmaster Lu is? Fine then. Give me a second to tell our fortune before we talk to him. Holy gods and deities, Wu Tian begs you for spiritual divination. Show me my destiny. Oh no. The trigrams indicate we'll be trapped in water. Terrible fortune awaits. It's hopeless. Also, this painting also looks like it looks like about, I don't know, 60% of it has been cut off for this. Same with this one, right? Like, I feel like an artist wouldn't do the flowers cut off so drastically. You die? What? He said that they're gonna be stuck in water, not that they're gonna die. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Master Wu, just relax. Shipmaster Lu has taken this route many times. With him at the helm, nothing can go wrong. Oh! What's going on? It appears to be a power system failure. No, 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 no. It's the Loon. The Loon King is coming. Oh. Prayers. L, is there a circuit board in the dining hall? Yes, behind the oil painting, but it's too dark. It'll be hard to find. A few moments later.
Long, long
Listen, the Long Long Man is a legend, all right? Much respects will be paid to the long, long man around here. Long, long man should be respected at all times. There's nothing wrong with the long, long man. He just has a unique relationship with Candy and that one couple. All right? I think we've talked about, well, we've talked about this before, but for those who might not be aware, there was a series in Japan of commercials about a piece of candy that starred the Long Long Man. It was like a 12-piece commercial series about a couple who are like in love, but the woman ends up becoming obsessed with the Long Long Man who has long pieces of candy instead of short little like one bite pieces of candy. And this leads to a whole series of shenanigans where she basically falls in love with the Long Long Man and ruins her relationship with her current boyfriend, and then they like don't get married, and then she becomes obsessed with Long Long Man, and then Long Long Man becomes friends with the boyfriend, and there's just an ongoing thing. Oh, I know Long Long Man. I bet you do, Iggy. I bet you do. It's a hilarious series. The commercials are only like, I don't know, 3 minutes long or whatever, normal TV commercial length. So, but if it's worth a look up because of how funny and random it is. And it's from a while ago. It's from, I think, like 10 or 12 years ago or something. Mr. Shin, the circuit box is here. It appears a fuse has been blown. Oh no, this morning I heard Ling Shin say that he had just replaced the last spare. John, why not just try to connect the wires? Let me see. Be careful, Mr. Shin. Immediately die. Connect these fuses according to their positive and negative poles without crossing them. Then the circuit box will be repaired. This was an interesting one. See, this is much more efficient than the way I did it last time. Shoutouts. The last time I did this, it was like all over the place and we barely got it to work. Wait, what? Did that not do the thing? Huh? Oh, do I have to do... Oh, I have to do, like, continual? Oh, well, yeah, that's definitely gonna make things more complicated, isn't it? This is... I don't remember doing it like this before. I don't remember doing it that way before, but alright. Alright, the power has been restored. Thank you for your grace, Master Wu. Shouldn't you be thanking Mr. Shen? Yes, of course. All is good. All is well. I told you nothing could go wrong. Not to worry. Everyone, the Shawnee is the safest ship there is. Help! What? What's going on now? Somebody help! That sounds like Yin Shu. Let's go up and take a look. Just looked like, it looked like in a turn-based RPG, the squad running into, like, at the beginning of a combat section, just like the four of them, like, here's the detective, here's the weird foreign guy, here's the priest, here's the young child. Like, Yinshu, are you alright? Miss Yinshu, what happened? Room! In the room! Yin Zhao, she's been... That kid is a jinx. Oh! Stabbed in the heart. Something, the song. Murderer! Ah! I'm sorry, she is no longer breathing. Her blood is yet to coagulate. She has just passed away not too long ago. L, there's been a murder. Please guard the doors and do not let anyone else in. Okay. Sure she's just constipated? Yeah, someone get her some prune juice and some, like, high fiber tablets. She'll be fine. Yan Zhao, you died so tragically. Who in the world could do such a thing? To find the culprit, an on-site investigation must be conducted. John, can you cooperate with me? Certainly. This guy's just absolutely losing it over here. Gramophone. There's a wind-up gramophone, but it is slightly damaged. Oil is applied on the spring. The sound produced should be improved. Okay. So I think that's where we would have gotten the gramophone info. Oh, no, that's actually back there. Weird. Got the 21 thing. Waters. The merchants thing wouldn't have come up yet. In regard to the predecessor of modern mahjong, which were popular during the mid and late Ming Dynasty until the end of the Qing Dynasty. Mahjong cards have two patterns, coins and the characters from the novel Water Margin. The characters from Water Margin also have different names in the module, such as two Buddhas discussing scripture when Lao Jin and Wu Song appear together. Another Wu. Couple reunion where Hu Saning and Wing Ying appear together, and Delightful Beauty when Hu Shaning appears alone. What does this one actually mention now? Huzhu merchants referred to the collective name for merchants from the old Huzhu prefecture, one of the 5 major merchant groups in Chinese history. The Huzhu merchants rose to prominence during the Tang and Song dynasty, with a commercial boom occurring in the Ming dynasty after the establishment of the Transportation Commission's silver payment for salt trade system. Centered around salt trade, they also achieved remarkable success in the tea, timber, and pawnbroking industries, with their business operations spreading nationwide with the late Ming and early Qing dynasties. The Huzhu merchants revered the Neo-Confucianism teachings of Zhao Ze, emphasizing the cultural and educational upbringing of their clan's youth. This fostered the spirit of Confucian merchants and endowing them with significant advantages in both the political and commercial arenas. A bunk bed in a ship? That's a safety hazard. I mean, they didn't have the same kind of safety concerns we have nowadays. But yeah, that's a freestanding bed, by the way. That's not, like, that's not attached to the walls. That's a freestanding bunk bed. That's pretty dangerous. You're not wrong. We got kerosene lamp. There's an overturned kerosene lamp on the ground. The lampshade has already broken. The name Fu is written at the base of the lamp with a brush. Again, well, that explains Ah Fu. Down next to the Madame Ying's body, the name Fu is written on the base of the lamp with a brush. Bed. 2 books, The Chinese Scientist magazine and Night and Morning, are in the upper bunk. This bed appears to belong to Miss Yin Chu. There's a water pipe on the lower bunk. This is probably Madame Yin's bed. The corner of a book is pointing out from under the pillow. It is an accountant book. It records in detail the various expenses of the Wu family. Madame Yin's body. Wait, what are you two doing? Post-mortem examination. The 2 of you are outsiders and men. How could I let you touch my sister-in-law's body? Mr. Joseph is a prosecutor from Britain with a great accomplishment in medicine. This examination will not harm her body, but instead help us understand the cause of death. You know, besides the big piece of metal stuck in her chest. You can't. It's improper for men and women to touch so casually. Just let Yin Chu do it on your behalf, then. Mr. Wu, it is obvious that your sister-in-law has been murdered. Unless you want the culprit to remain at large, please remain silent and stay out of the way. Old traditions. John, let's begin. Everyone kneel. Kneel and pray to the god of knowledge. No, I still think she slipped. I mean, if she fell and she was on her stomach, maybe. But the fact she's like laying up against a bed seems odd to me for just slipping and falling. So we got other. There's some glass shards scattered around the feet of the deceased. one of which is a perfectly circular shape, seemingly out of place among the other fragments. Where could this have fallen from? Other, a round piece of glass found near the body. Tab, view autopsy. You got feet? The head of the deceased rests against the bed, yet her foot tilts unnaturally to one side. It's as if the murderer took her life, placed her body down, then kicked her. Did they do this to vent anger? No, the murderer wouldn't have only kicked her once if that struck her body out of frustration. There's probably another reason for this. You know, I've slipped in some odd ways. It can happen. Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it feels unlikely. We got the feet. Body. Body is still warm to the touch, and there are no signs of livor mortis, indicating that she has just passed away. Residual warmth, no livor mortis. Bloodstain. There's several parallel bloodstains on the ground near the left hand of the deceased. The bloodstains spread in an outward direction and do not seem to be left by the deceased. 3 parallel bloodstains on the ground. Hand. I don't know what hand they're talking about, but alright. There's a gash on the outer side of the deceased arm that was caused by a sharp object. This is a defense wound. According to the location of the wound, it's likely that the deceased instinctively blocked the murderer's assault with her left arm. Defense wound, okay. Body. Chest. There's a candlestick in her chest. There are no blood spurts nearby, but blood is oozing out. When the arterium is impaled, blood flows into the presurdium, resulting in a fatal blockage. Oh, this is one of those things, I swear I'm not an elk, I was wondering about. Way back when we filmed this the first time, does this sound correct to you as a heart specialist? When the aortum is impaled, blood flows. It does, yes? Okay. The entire process happens extremely quickly. The deceased wouldn't even have time to scream. The murderer seems quite skillful to be able to kill someone in one blow with a candlestick. I don't really understand how this works at all, but I think if I remember right, they end up showing what this candlestick looks like later and explains why this is possible. Because when I think of a candlestick, I think of like a small flat thing that just meant to catch wax. But I don't know how you would slam that through someone's chest. Nothing on the face. Hair. Face of the deceased is clean and the jade on her hairpin is sparkling under the light. This hairpin appears to be a collector's item. You know what's what, huh? Yin Zhao's hairpin can't be bought with money. Does this hairpin have any special origin? The silversmith who made it used to work in the palace. Their craftsmanship is long lost now. Someone once owed us woos a large sum of money, so Yin Zhao and I went to collect the debt. Yin Zhao immediately fell in love with this hairpin before I could even say anything. There, it contains a unique hairpin. What else are we missing here? That. Wait. Wait. Oh, the candlestick itself. The murder weapon was a copper candlestick. The spikes completely penetrated the body. The drip pan of the candlestick is covering the bleeding from the wound. Therefore, the column has not been tainted with blood. Wax bowl covering the wound. No body on the column. Or blood on the column. Verified. Pierced through the heart by the spikes of candlestick. The victim's wounds are present on the... whatever. Temple legends. I mean, I guess we could read this. I don't think I read this the first time. I should ask the Wu family about this. The Wu family seems to know something about the legend of the Loon King Temple. The eldest Wu brother was particularly keen on refraining from talking about it. What exactly was the incident back then that was brought up in their conversation? Okay, so it's just the... wait, can I get... no, it's just this. Broken kerosene lamp found next to the food was written at the base of the lamp with a brush. What are the legends? Okay. There's a closed suitcase placed horizontally by the bed. The cuff of Madame Yin's right sleeve is caught in the suitcase. Okay. Is that it? Hanger. There's a woman's coat on the hanger. It appears to belong to Madame Yin. T-Man, cabinets. The cabinet is locked and cannot be opened. Magnets, coils, amateurs, and many other strange objects can be seen placed inside. These are most likely not the belongings of Madame Yin and Miss Yin Chu. Yes. There's a small mirror as well as some bottles and jars on the table. Top-grade moisturizers and serums. These are all expensive Watson brand cosmetics. Okay, I think that takes care of everything else in here then. Yin Zhao. Oh, Yin Zhao. How could this happen? You were alive and well just moments ago, but now you're gone. My condolences, Mr. Temen. I have a few questions to ask you about the temple. I heard your fear of these waters is due to your almost boarding a missing escort ship. Shh, why is this being brought up again? Madame Yin was murdered when our ship was approaching the waters near the Loon King Temple. Does this seem like a coincidence to you, Mr. T-Man? You should know, these waters are evil! Evil, I tell you! Whether it's what happened today or back then, it's because we've angered the Loon King. If you could, Mr. T-Man, please tell me about what happened in the past. Father entrusted the Yangtze River Escort Agency to transport the silver to buy a tea shop. I was supposed to accompany the escort, but I suddenly fell ill. Thank goodness for that. Otherwise, I would have followed that ship into the stomach of the Loon King. My condolences, Mr. T-Man. I have a few questions to ask about Yin Zhao. G-Man, has Madame Yin ever been on unfriendly terms with anyone? Yin Zhao had a knack for running the household. People were bound to be jealous. But I don't think anyone would harm Yin Zhao because of that. Is there anyone on this ship that raises your suspicions, Mr. Temen? They turned off all the lights like snap, then killed someone with a candlestick. Something under the water. Must have possessed somebody. Please bless us, Buddha Stava. Bless us. Wiggles. Okay. About the wuss. I don't know what that means, but about the wuss. I really heard you speaking with your sister about the splitting of inheritance? You mean the tea business? The land and the house our father left behind? Could the death of Madame Yin be related to this? Hey, you don't think us wuss would kill Yin Zhao just for some family property, do you? Us wuss aren't heartless profit seekers. Or I guess woos? I guess it's woos plural, right? It's not wuss, it's woos. Mr. Joseph, I've caught the culprit. First mate Woo. Forgot how goofy this scene is. The eyes, the swirl of shade or shade of swirls are definitely a nice touch. I appreciate that. And then this the weird jar really is such an odd concept. That's the boy sleeping on the bunk above me. It's Afu. Afu is the culprit. Zing in my hand and then a zing with my face. As I'm running out from Yin Zhao's room in a hurry. When I caught up to him, I noticed he had blood all over his hands. That's why I seized him and brought him here. Tell us, did you kill her or not? If you won't talk, that means you admit it. Looks like a bomb. It kind of does. It's a weird thing because it has like his hand stuck in it. Throw him into the river as an offering to the Loon King. Nah, don't do that. Nah, I'm cool. Shipmaster Lu will decide how to deal with him. Ling Shin, you should go find rope and tie this murderer up. I mean, if we threw him overboard. Wait a moment. Joseph interrupts. This young man is most likely not the murderer of Madame Yen. He's not the murderer? You better responsibility. You better take responsibility for what you say, you foreigner. Just look at the face of this slippery fellow. It's obvious he's a crafty old devil. River, are you guys not at sea? No, no. This is like a flat bottom steamboat. And they're just taking a long river trip from like wherever they were going to back to Shin's hometown, I think, to drop off his dead brother. Rivers are just very thin seas. I mean, they're more of, I guess they're more like the veins that lead to the main body that is the ocean. But yeah, kinda. But yeah, no, we're not on the ocean. This is just a very large river. That old devil. Mr. Joseph, Afu's hands are covered in blood. Why would you say that he's not the murderer? John, Afu's possibility of being the murderer is next to nothing. I believe you know why. I sure don't. I did this the first time some time ago, and I do not remember what this stuff is. I've been able to see the entire truth. Don't be modest. You already have an answer in your heart. I shall try my best. Deduction. The truth behind the murders of Madame Yen. With his pale face and bloodied hands, Afu does appear to be the murderer. But, in fact, there is a crucial detail at the crime scene that contradicts this deduction. What fact contradicts the conclusion that Afu is the murderer because of the blood on his hand? Well, I was thinking, I think it was, it's an overturned kerosene lamp on the ground. I can't remember if it's this or the foot position. John, there's no superficial nor superficial connection between the two. Indeed, this cannot prove anything. I shall reconsider. Okay, hold on. Is it this? Overturn. This is Afu's kerosene lamp. Murderers usually do not leave items with their names written at the crime scene. I also think this is crucial evidence, but it still can't explain the blood on Afu's hands. Allow me to reconsider. So that's not wrong, but they still punished me for it, and I don't care for that. Oh, the smear. Bloodstain on the ground. So, if Afu unintentionally touched her left arm, his hands would also be stained with blood. It's likely he was the one who left the bloodstains on the ground. John, the possibility you speak of is valid. However, you cannot prove that Afu isn't the murderer. Allow me to reconsider. What? Knee, suitcase, left arm. Oh, is it the glass shards separate from the lamp? Obviously, the glass shards cut Afu's hand, which is why they're covered in blood. John, why don't you examine Afu's hands? His hands, there are now no wounds on them. But this was still a meaningful attempt. Let's shake a leg and keep plugging away. I do not remember the left arm. Suitcase. Afu is the murderer because of the blood on his hands. Oh, there's no blood stain on the weapon. Held by a candlestick and sharply penetrated the body. Baju unintentionally touched the deceased's chest. His hands... No, not that. What? He touched the accused chest? Good grief, you pervert. Where it gets to that issue, his reputation will be ruined and the woos will be disgraced. I won't let get away with this. Silence. John, this hypothesis lacks structural support and cannot keep it... Okay, so this is... John, I'm sorry, you were weak... Wait, what? You were a whisker away from the truth, but now you're at the end of the earth. Joseph, indeed, I must reconsider. Now, let's rekindle the flame and light a fire under. What? Oh, giant ship sinks. Afu was imprisoned as the murderer, and soon after, the Shanhei was sunk due to engine failure. Okay, I never got this failure before. That's actually really funny. No blood on the candlestick handle? Yeah, that's the correct answer, but I thought I needed to click on the chest to prove it, but I guess... Oh, it's separate. That's why... Okay, murder weapon, the candlestick. Thank you. No blood was found on the column. If he'd done the murder, there would be blood on the candlestick. The evidence that proves Afu is not the murderer is the candlestick penetrating the body. Shen, isn't this candlestick the murder weapon? How does it prove that Afu isn't the murderer? To pierce the spike, which I guess apparently candlesticks again have this giant spike on them. In the body, the murderer's hand must grip the candlestick, correct? Yeah, to apply force. If Afu was gripping the candlestick when he committed murder, then why is Afu's right palm stained with blood, yet the candlestick is clean? What? What if he cleaned the blood stains off the candlestick? Lingshin, if Afu cleaned the candlestick, he would have cleaned his hands as well. Could it be that the candlestick moved on its own and killed her? The deceased was killed by a long and thin weapon penetrating the heart. Under these circumstances, blood doesn't spray, but oozes instead and is absorbed by clothing. Moreover, with the wax bowl as a barrier, the murderer could keep blood off their hands. The power went out earlier. If it happened when Afu was committing the crime, is it possible that he touched the blood on Yin Shu amidst the panic? John, Lingshin has proposed a decent hypothesis. So did Afu enter the crime scene before the power outage? John, I would like to hear your answer. The evidence that can specify the time is right in front of our eyes. Okay, so this time it's got to be the kerosene lamp. Why would he have a kerosene lamp? This broken kerosene lamp can indicate the time Afu entered the crime scene. The kerosene lamp was needed precisely because of the power outage, which means that Afu entered the crime scene after the power outage. Afu entered the room after the power went out. At that time, he had the lamp in his right hand and his left was stuck in a strange device. Then it wouldn't be easy for him to get a candlestick and commit murder. If it wasn't Afu, then why are his hands covered in blood, huh? Then again, as a man, what was he doing running into a woman's room? See what it's a thing. He's still going, but. Pale face, trembling body, sweating profusely, these are all typical symptoms of fear. I'm afraid Afu has been rendered speechless due to vasovagal syncope. As for the reason why his bloodstained hand, Madame Yen has already told us. Yin Zhao? John, why don't you give Mr. Wu a hint? What caused the blood on Afu's hand? Okay, this time is it the bloodstains? We may have unknowingly touched the left arm of the deceased by chance. Without a doubt, the blood on Afu's hands belonged to Madame Yen. He most likely created the bloodstains on the floor as well. However, if you want to persuade the two Mr. Wus, you need to go to the extra mile. Therefore, what we actually need to provide is the reason why Afu touched the body. Oh, well that's because of the foot position. It's against the bed's edge with the feet unintentionally tilted to one side. John, this isn't the reason why Afu's... What? You just sweat blood and think harder. Is it the glass shards? What caused the blood on Afu's hands? Wait, so it's not the wound on the arm. Or is it the wound on the left arm? Afu may have unknowingly touched the left arm for a doubt. Most likely created the bloodstains on the floor as well. However, if you want to persuade Mr. Mile, therefore, what actually proved... Oh, I guess the... Okay, glass shards, then? Oh, okay. One of the lenses missing from Afu's glasses landed next to Madame Yen. That's an answer, right as rain. Based on Madame Yen's strange posture and the location of the lamp, as well as the lens, considering the position of the possible light sources inside the cabin after a power outage, Afu's experience can be easily inferred. After entering the room, he accidentally tripped over the body on the ground, thus breaking the kerosene lamp and his glasses. Crouching down to look for his glasses, he touched the blood on the deceased's clothes. Blood then triggered his phobia. Mr. Joseph, so you're saying Afu only discovered the body and the culprit is someone else? That's right. No. It wasn't a person. It was a Loon King. The candlestick. The candlestick moved on its own. The Loon King is after our lives. Mr. Timon, your concern is misplaced. An unreasonable detail near the body indicates someone besides Afu entered the crime scene. Okay, so this time I think it's the suitcase. It was Loon King. It was Long King. I mean, that would be really strange if a mysterious candy-loving man appeared on the boat and started killing people. That does sound like a bad horror movie from, like, the Sci-Fi Channel. The unreasonable detail at the crime scene is this suitcase. The suitcase caught Madame Yin's sleeve. This means after Madame Yin was stabbed and collapsed, someone closed the suitcase. What do you mean? The suitcase is placed right next to Madame Yin. Whoever closed it must have noticed her body. This person is not Afu, otherwise he would not have tripped. It's also not Madame Yin, or else there would be bloodstains on the suitcase. Meaning calm after discovering the body. It must be the murderer? Why would the murderer deliberately close the suitcase after committing the crime? Maybe open the suitcase to investigate? Are you having a panic attack for some reason? No, you can't. You mustn't open it. Who knows what Yin Zhao stashed away in that suitcase? What if it brings misfortune upon us as well? What are you talking about? Mr. Joseph, Mr. Shen, don't mind this old fogey. Investigations are more important. Open it! He just dropped, like, runs and just flying elbows onto it to open it up. There are a few clothes, a box of jewelry, a purse, and some cards in the suitcase. There's an indentation here. Something seems to have been taken. Could there be pirates on the ship? The valuables inside the suitcase are still present. It was not the doings of pirates. John, when we investigated the room earlier, did you see anything of the same shape? Yeah, there's like a perfume bottle or something over on the cap. Yeah, this. The perfume bottle on the table has the same shape as the indentation. The fragrance of the deceased suggests that this may not have been the doings of the murderer. Therefore, what's even more noteworthy is the Mahjong card. Mahjong card. A card found at Madame Yin's crime scene. It shows the 8 of characters. 8 of characters? Huh? We were missing 8 Mahjong cards earlier. What is the 8 of characters doing here? Missing Mahjong cards. She stole them, of course. That Yin Zhao, she can't even play Mahjong without cheating. No, wait. This suitcase isn't Yin Zhao's. It looks like Yin Chu's. The clothes in the suitcase and the perfume on the table all belong to Yin Chu. Yin Chu? Elle, can you ask Miss Yin Chu to come inside for a moment? Oh. It's like, wait, Elle's not here, but they're over there, I guess. Mr. Joseph, I think Yin Chu was upset by what she saw. She doesn't look too good. So we let her get some rest first? Of course, Afu needs rest as well. We can question them later. Okay, but this room... Yin Chu and Afu can rest in Timen's room since he'll be worshipping the Loon King. Hey, wait. We haven't resolved the issue of sacrificial offerings yet. Everyone casually exits stage front? Mr. Joseph, what should we do with Madame Yin? It's best we preserve the body at the lowest temperature so we can conduct a follow-up autopsy. The lowest temperature is the crew cabin. Is the crew cabin okay? Great suggestion. I love the coldest thing on this ship is the crew cabin. You know, where the crew live during the, you know, the course of the journey. What that? Strange and Elle have placed the body in the crew cabin. Thank you for your help, Elle, or I would have dropped Madame Yin while going down the stairs. I just love that they're implying, like, the coldest, most unpleasant place to be in all of this is the crew cabin. There's no need for that, Mr. Shen. I only did what I should. Besides, Madame Yin barely weighs anything. It was effortless. Well, that's a weird thing to say about a dead body, but okay. Where are you off to investigate next, Mr. Shen? I'll lead the way. I appreciate it, Elle. Okay, crew cabin. View from the bow. So beautiful. So much detail. The fog at night covers a wide span. Visibility is but mere meters. Our ship seems to be sailing within endless darkness. Elle, do you hear that? What does that sound? Do you mean the thrumping and clanging up ahead, Mr. Shen? Yes. I know. It's the sound of gongs and drums. Why would they be sounding gongs and drums in the middle of the night? It means our ship has reached the Loon King Temple. Today is Loon Head Raising Day, February 2nd. They'll hold festival events to worship the Loon King. Okay, crew cabin. This door leads to the crew cabin. There's no need to go down there for now. We just came out. Okay, cockpit. Nothing like this has ever happened on my ship before. Have you checked everywhere? Are there any traces of pirates boarding the ship? There are no signs of pirates boarding the ship, and no one has lost their belongings. Mr. Joseph and Mr. Shen both believe that this is a murder case. Just in time, Mr. Shen is here. In order to discern Madame Yin's murder as soon as possible, I must investigate the cockpit. Shipmaster Liu, please forgive me for any offense. Ling Shen has filled me in with all the details. Feel free to investigate. If there's anything you need my help with, just let me know. Engine telegraph. The style of this device is extremely unique. Mr. Shen, this is the engine telegraph. It's used to adjust the ship's speed. Shipmaster Liu, first mate, and desk. A map is laid out on the desk, on which a compass and a sextant and a telescope are placed. A navigation log that records the course, speed, position, weather, and tidal currents. It records arrived in Zunyang at 2050, command to accelerate, proceeded at full speed. Enter the waters of the Loon King Temple at 2130, command to decelerate, slowly advanced. Power outage occurred at 2:10 and power was restored at 2220. This information may be useful. I need to record it. Full speed, 2130, slowly advanced, 2210. Outage occurred, 2220, power restored. Okay, food box. There's a food container by the table, the same one First Mate Wu took from the dining hall. Okay, that's it. First Mate Wu. Mr. Lingshen, may I ask you a few questions? Mr. Shen, what would you like to know? About Madame Yin. Has Madame Yin ever had any grudges with anyone? Yin Zhao is quite obtrusive and a bloodsucker, so she's made her fair share of enemies. However, none of these people are of this ship. Of all the people on this ship, who do you think has the most motive to kill her? Wu Timen? Master Wu? They might seem friendly with one another, but they've had an ongoing strife for years. The main conflict between them has always been the family business. My second oldest brother died young, but Yin Zhao had a son with him, and she's got business talent. Even as the eldest son, Timen didn't stand a chance against her. Timen has always been looking for a way to deprive Yin Zhao's family of inheritance rights. How would he be able to do so? There are a myriad of rules in big families. For instance, if a woman engages in public or immoral behavior, she'll lose her right of inheritance. As far as I know, Yin Zhao does what she pleases in secret, but Timen never caught her. I didn't expect him to go so far. I'm a bit worried about the safety of my nephew. Madam Yin's family loses inheritance rights, then your inheritance would increase? Me? Yinshu and I are above bickering with those two. Mr. Shin, what would you like to know about? I love that he called his sister a bloodsucker. That's some family stuff right there. That's one of those things. It's either your ex-husband or your brother who you have a issues with, right? About yourself. Okay, that's nothing important. Why did you come to serve as the first mate of the Shawnee, Mr. Lingshan? Although the Woos are well known for being tea merchants, I'm more of a coffee person. I started out an elk. Mr. Lingshan, I wonder where your aspirations lie. I'm sure, Mr. Shin, you have definitely read Around the World in 80 Days before. I want to be like Fogg and travel the world, see the sights, eat delicious food, and enjoy life. Mr. Shin, what would you like to know? That's it for now, thank you. Wow, I just noticed this. I don't know what that is, like a smoke detector? Or a bell or something? It looks very modern compared to the rest of the ship. Odd. Shipmaster Liu, there are a few questions I would like to ask you. Don't hesitate to ask, Mr. Shen. About the missing crew. Heard that shipmate Hao Chu has gone missing? That's right. I haven't seen him since Yin Zhao's incident. Do you think he did it? Although Hao Chu causes trouble when he's drunk, he's a coward. I doubt he'd kill anyone. Don't be so sure. This guy is a drunkard and a lecher. He offended Yin Zhao not too long ago. Really? What happened? At the time, Yin Zhao had just boarded the ship and asked Hao Chu to help carry her things. Not only didn't he lend a hand helping, he ogled her the entire time, then got told off. He refused to repent and kept insisting Yin Zhao looked like the wife he never got to marry. They ever have any direct conflicts? Not really. I shoot him away. But the simper he had on his face back then, now that I think about it, was really suspicious. Don't hesitate to ask. The Shawnee. How long have you been on the Shawnee, Shipmaster Liu? I've been related to this ship for most of my life. This ship used to be called the Anking? The first steamship us Chinese designed and built. It's even older than the famous Yangtze, but not many people know that. When this ship was built, I was only 15 and worked at the Enging Ordnance Institute. I watched as Hao Shu and his son Hu Xinyan built the ship piece by piece. All the pistons and screws on this ship were handmade by Ha Shu. Ha Xian and I hammered the boiler in the engine room together bit by bit. Later on, coincidentally, this ship was renamed the Shawnee and I became the shipmaster. Shawnee is more important to me than anything, so please, Mr. Shin, find out the truth. Don't hesitate to ask. About Ah Fu. Shipmaster Liu, I saw there was a cabin in Madam Yin's cabin filled with Ah Fu's things. Ah Fu used to stay at the cabin in the middle. Who would have known Madam Yin found her cabin too small and insisted on a bigger one? He's a kind-hearted kid, so he voluntarily gave up the cabin to them. He seemed to know quite a lot about Ah Fu. You can say that. I watched Ah Fu grow up. He used to come and play when he was shorter than the rudder. Now he calls the place home. A lot of small installations on the Shawnee were made by him. Assuming that although Ah Fu is staying in the guest room, he's actually a crew member? How could young Master Ah Fu be a crew member? He has a deep connection with this ship. Forgive me, but I can't go into details. Shipmaster, it's the first time I've heard you talk about this as well. If it weren't for Mr. Shin, I almost tied Ah Fu up as the murderer. There's absolutely no way Ah Fu could ever kill anyone. Don't hesitate to ask. Okay, we're good. Speaking tubes. Which rooms are connected by the speaking tubes? The two adjacent to the rudder are connected to the dining hall and the engine room. There are 3 more next to the cabin doors that connect the 3 cabins. I have a basic understanding of the situation in the cockpit. Sorry for my intrusion. Don't be so courteous, Mr. Shin. You're doing me a favor. Oh! We're being bombarded! The ship just strike a reef? Nonsense. Where would you find a reef on a river? Just now, did something fall down? Shipmaster, Mr. Shin, did you see that? I think it looked like a person. Let's go take a look. Ling Shin, you take the helm. I'll go with Mr. Shin. Joseph? Yeah, straight up. I've discovered the body of a crew member. He has been dead for quite some time. Mr. Shin, that's old How. How could this happen? John, come over and examine the body first. Okay, what do we got? Starting at the bottom, we got the legs. Legs are areas of livor mortis have emerged on the legs, appearing purplish red in color. The livor mortis already formed are diffused with petechiae in prominent areas. The patches of livor mortis are starting to blend, which means he died more than 3 hours ago. A diffuse livor mortis beginning to merge. A male corpse declared legally deceased. Okay, we got released if you. Oh, okay, others. Mr. Shin, there seems to be a piece of paper inside this pile of broken glass. This is another Mahjong card. Card found in the broken wine bottle next to Hao Shu's body, partially soaked by wine. It shows stuff. The card is partially soaked by alcohol, but the text can still be vaguely identified. 9 of characters. Not a 9 of characters Mahjong card near the deceased. Almost seems like it was inside of this booze bottle. Upper limbs. The deceased's left hand fingers are stiff with livor mortis of the arm. On the arm. The deceased is holding half a broken bottle of liquor in his right hand. Muscles in the lower jaw, neck, and upper limbs all show signs of rigor mortis. Muscles in the fingers, toes, and lower limbs are more relaxed. Rigor mortis has yet to spread. Rigor mortis limited to the upper limbs indicates a time of death of around 4 to 6 hours ago. So we had 3, and now we're up to 4. 4 to 6. Do I need the vomit or whatever this is? Let's see, face. There are signs of swelling, congestion, and cyanosis on the deceased's face. The deceased's mouth reeks of alcohol, proving he drank a large amount before death. There's a large amount of vomit left in the deceased's mouth. He may have choked to death. Okay, signs of vomiting, yeah. Head wound. There's an abrasion on the forehead and a noticeable lump on the cranial region. The wound caused by the fall is consistent with the position of the deceased landed. However, it is quite strange that his lump is white instead of the usual reddish brown. John, bruises caused by falling after death are pale in color. Long man got him. I mean, he threw him off the top of the ship, or the long man, I guess he technically didn't die from the fall. He was probably overdrank himself. So he was seduced by the charm of the long man. Then he overdrank and passed out and choked to death on his own vomit. And then while that was, after that all happened, then long man snuck into Yin Chu's room and apparently stabbed her in the heart for some reason. It was a long fall, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's it. All right. New clue. Hao Chu's autopsy report. The time of death between 4 and 6 hours appears to have choked to death after inebriation, but homicide is suspected. According to the stiffness and lividity of his body, Hao Chu was killed 4 to 6 hours ago. Cause of death? The mechanical asphyxiation. Are you saying that he was strangled to death, Mr. Joseph? No. There are many circumstances of mechanical asphyxiation. Strangulation is only one of them. From the appearance of his corpse, it is more likely that his death was caused by choking. Chu was an alcoholic. It makes sense to me that he choked on his vomit after drinking. Could this have been an accident? Not necessarily. Without knowing what was in the wine, we can't rule out the possibility someone was involved. Furthermore, we also found this Mahjong card next to Hao Chu. It's hard not to associate his death with the death of Madame Yen. Yeah, it's too coincidental for Master Wu's Mahjong card to appear at the murder scene. Could it be that there really was something between old Hao and Madame Yen? Elle, don't make wild guesses about our passengers' affairs. Your Honor, it was Long Long Man. Dun dun dun! There's this, a crowd gasp from the crowd as the Long Long Man is once again mentioned. I didn't mean to. Matters are trickier than I had imagined. Perhaps this is all just the beginning. John, we need to complete investigations of the whole ship as soon as possible. I'm on it. Me and this... I'd like to know more about Hao Chu. He's always stowing in his own juices. That's an interesting idiom. L, does this ladder lead to the roof of the top of the cockpit? And that's right, Mr. Shen. Hao Chu's body fell from the roof of the ship. We should go up and take a look. Can't go that way. Vomit marks. The yellow and white sticky marks on the ground should be Hao Chu's vomit. It is indeed from quite a while ago, as it has already begun to dry. Old Hao really drank to his heart's content, huh? Wine bottle. There are 5 empty wine jars scattered across the floor and 2 distinctive bottles. 3, I think, actually. It appears to be imported liquor. Mr. Shen, that's cola water, a type of soda. It tastes really good. Especially in the summer, after cooling it down in water. You just... chug, 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 chug. For those who are watching this, the cola water comes up later, and if you understood what's going on here, you would probably be a little concerned for L. Chug, 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 chug again. Brah. You'll be happy as the day is long. Mr. Shen, you want a taste of happiness too? No, but thank you for the offer. We find out about cola water later. For those who are in the know about maybe colas of the time, the recipe for this is historically accurate for certain red labeled soda brand. Shang Tsung and Joseph's cabin. This is my cabin. Shall I enter it for investigations? Let's go. Kicks the door in. Proceeds to point a gun in all directions, even though that he doesn't have a gun. Let's see. Bed. This is our bed. I sleep on the upper bunk while Joseph takes the lower bunk. There is nothing out of place with the bedding on the bed and the suitcase under the bed. I love Coke! Who doesn't love a delicious, delicious Coca-Cola from time to time, right? Who doesn't love a delicious Coca-Cola unrelated to the cola water of this module? I don't want to give... because when this goes up for you YouTube people, to do the translation here, this is going to be up like in a couple of days, and that episode where we talk about the like cola water isn't going to be up for probably like another 3 weeks after this episode. So the references are, I don't want to get too spoilery. Because technically this is going to become, I think, I think this is technically part 3, and the cola water thing doesn't come up till part 6 or 7. There's nothing out of place with the bedding. Okay, suitcase under the thing. Teddy bear. How could something so cute appear on Mr. Joseph's bed? This teddy bear belongs to Joseph's daughter. She asked Joseph to keep it by his side. Ashes. Ash jar? Mr. Shin, what's inside this jar? It contains my brother's ashes. I made this trip so I could bring him back home. My condolences, Mr. Shen. It's fine. Those who have passed are resting in peace. Resting in peace. Let us go take a look elsewhere. Man, I just love cola. Stuff makes me just so jittery. Excitable. Coins on the floor. Mr. Shin, you dropped your money. This does not belong to me. However, it looks quite familiar. I may have seen it before. Just got some weird red string through it. I like the money that has the hole in it for like, I assume this is one of those like stacking things or like for some way of keeping track of it so it doesn't slide around too much. The words Yingyu currency are engraved. There's also a red string tied to it. Wine glass. There are 2 books titled The Great Queen Code and The Spirit of Laws on the side table. These are books that I have been reading recently. What's wrong, Mr. Shen? The red wine Joseph left on the table is missing. Missing? How could it be missing? I'm afraid someone has visited this room in secret. This room has been thoroughly investigated. No other abnormalities were discovered. Mr. Shen, the bottle of red wine is the only thing missing, right? Nothing else? No, nothing else. That's strange. Who would steal Mr. Joseph's wine? Well, I would blame it on the alcoholic, but it turns out he's been dead 4 to 6 hours, so probably not him. Unless it really is the ghost? 1 bag to suppress the demons. Longamong Man did? Duh. Yeah, that's what it is. He was very thirsty after seducing old Hao and then murdering Madame Yan or whatever, and he needed a drink, so he just downed a whole bottle of wine. 1 bag to remove ill fortune. I love that it bounces off the railing like he couldn't even, his physicality is such that he couldn't throw it successfully off a boat. He literally threw it out of the boat and missed the water. That's how incompetent this person is. Don't blame me, don't blame me. Here's an ample portion of pork along with some pig ear and snout to pay our respects. If you chose to accept it, please clear away the bad omens in this water. Master Wu, are you praying for blessings? Blood! There's blood in the water! I literally thought this was taking a left turn right now. Like something weird was finally going to start happening, because there was a lot of talk of ghosts in that last chapter, right? And I'm like, wait, is it finally making a weird left turn? Are we going to actually fight some like Cthulhu monster? Because I mean, it's mentioned that the creature, the Loom King, looks like an umbrella with eyes and tentacles. There was also the flying disc thing. So I really thought at this point maybe there was some kind of weird left turn was going to happen. This is retribution for being ignorant and disrespectful to the Loom King. It's a warning. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and bring more offerings before terrible things happen. But where am I supposed to find offerings? Do not panic, Elle. A finless porpoise has collided with the bow of the ship. A finless porpoise. It's got to be a specific kind of fish or something, right? I mean, it's just, that's what happened. This has been the cause of the collision that made Hao Chu's body fall from the roof. I see now. Poor porpoise. Prayers. Elle, let us continue. I love that they had to explain what happened. He couldn't have just been hit a rough spot in the water. No, we had to murder a porpoise. This poor finless porpoise, which even though it looks like it does have fins, has been killed in order to satiate the bloodlust of this boat. Oh my god. Dining hall entrance. Vacations are more important. There is no need to go to the dining hall. Okay, paper charm at the stern. There's a paper charm attached to the stern of the ship. When the Loom King appears at midnight, may the golden light protect me. Mr. Shin, what is that? The second line seems to be taken from the Taoist golden light mantra. No doubt it's the handwriting of Master Wu. This is highly likely. However, I've never heard of the saying, the Loon King appears at midnight. Master Wu is a Buddhist, a Taoist, and a worshiper of the Loon King. Isn't he tired? Rip fish? Yeah. Sadly. It's not my fault, it's not my fault. Alright. Afu and Miss Yinshu are resting inside this cabin right now. Yinshu, Afu, Mr. Shin needs to come in and investigate. Hello, Mr. Shin. Hello, L. Afu, you're looking much better now. Can I? Is that look right? Is that just weird murder smile? Huh? You still can't speak? Oh. I mean, they don't have lips, so it's I can't. I guess it's not. Very just shocked. Oh no, what if you'll never be able to speak again? I mean, Afu is like the comic relief, right? Clearly, very clearly the comic relief compared to other things. Apparatus is on the desk. This is a hand-drawn blueprint of what seems like a fish tank on the desk. This is the thing his hand was stuck in. There's also a strangely shaped ruler and several issues of the Chinese scientific magazine. There's a row of test tubes, 2 bottles of reagents, and some apparatuses against the wall. Mr. Shin, what's this device with the crooked neck? That is a microscope. It is able to make an enlarged image of a small object. That's absolutely magical. Calling him that is a stretch. Afu is the simpleton to explain plot to us. I mean, as much of a simpleton as he is for someone who's apparently has like a high knowledge of chemistry and physics, right? You could probably call him like the socially awkward guy or something. He's a tool. I mean, he's a polite tool though, because usually if you're gonna throw around the term tool, that usually applies to someone who's also kind of a jerk. And I would say Afu is a very nice person. A plot device? Yeah, he's a plot device. He's definitely a plot delivery device for sure. Are you trying to tell us this device is very delicate and needs to be treated with care? Thumbs up. You got it, partner. I understand. We will be careful. Yeah, I mean, we know what a microscope is, clearly. Turn to deck. When you... Avu's a delicate device that needs to be treated with care. I mean, he gets his own bits later. Spoilers, everyone. We'll see him. He gets a little bit more directly involved with the story later. Paper ball on the floor. Mr. Shin, there's a piece of balled up paper under the bed. Mr. Wu, the 5,000 towels of silver you borrowed are more than 2 months overdue. If you still can't pay it back before the end of the month, I can only come and claim it. Odd. Is that a drawer on the top bunk? I think it's just like a faceplate. If it is, we can't directly interact with it, but... I mean, it could be a thin drawer. I guess you could put, like, maybe like a change of clothes or like an extra blanket on there. But it's not particularly thick. I mean, it doesn't even look like it's a foot thick. But I mean, you could have a bottom piece to break up, like to block the line of sight to the bottom of this. But I think it's just meant to be decorative. I don't think it's an actual, like, I'd store snacks. Well, that's fair too. Because I don't see like a separation line along the outside here. So if this was a drawer, it would basically have to be like all the way out to the very edge of this space. And if you're gonna put a drawer into something, that's not usually the way you do it. And the fact that also on this top, it doesn't look like there's much of a separation between this like faceplate piece and like the footing at the end of the bed. I think it's just a decorative design thing. Also, the bottom one kind of seems to have something similar, but a little bit different shape. And one on this side. And I can't imagine they'd put a drawer or something on this side. Of anything, it would be one of those slide out like kids' beds, but I don't think that's the case either. I think it's just decorative. These are paper charms on all four corners of the top bunk and a portrait hanging at the end. Mr. Shin, the loon in this painting looks so scary. Could it be the Loon King? Could it be the Loon King has been on the ship all this time? Hiding in this painting? No fear, L. It's a replica of the 9 loons from the Song Dynasty, not the Loon King. Did they... I thought we got a closer look. So that we found out what the Loon King looks like at one point. There's Stargazy Pie. Let's see. A Stargazy Pie is a traditional dish from Cornwall, England. It was made by baking a pie with ingredients such as sardines, eggs, and potatoes, with the fish heads deliberately poking through the pastry, appealing to gaze skyward. According to the legend, in the 16th century, a fishing village in Cornwall faced a famine due to severe storms and freezing weather, making it impossible to catch fish. A brave fisherman named Bawcock ventured out to sea and caught enough fish to feed the entire village. The fish were baked into a pie to show that they were indeed fish inside. The heads were intentionally left peeking through the pastry. This practice was preserved in honor of Bawcock in later years. Oh, then here's the legendary steamboat. Hanggu was the name of the first steamboat developed in China. It was ordered and named by Zheng Gufan and built by Zhu Shao, Zhu Gian, and Hao Hengfeng. It was successfully tested in Nanjing in 1865. The Hanggu steamboat had a load capacity of 25 tons and a length of 55 feet. It had a high-pressure steam engine and could reach speeds of 32 miles per hour downstream and 18 miles an hour upstream. Coffee? Oh, okay. Oh, then there's microscope. Okay, so we got probably up to at least microscope now. Coffee in the late Qing Dynasty. Coffee was first introduced to China in the mid-Qing Dynasty. In 1836, a Danish person opened the first coffee shop in Guangzhou, and it mainly catered to foreigners. After the Opium War, Shanghai established concessions, and Chinese compradors imitated the lifestyle of Western merchants, became the first group of Chinese people to drink coffee. In 1866, the book Foreign Cookery in Chinese was written to train Chinese chefs in Western cuisine. There's a passage specifically mentioning roast and grind kefir vigorously and constantly stir. Here, kefir is a translation of coffee. Soda. Soda, also known as Dutch water, was introduced to China around 1877. People at the time were very fond of this refreshing beverage as the way to cool off. During the wedding banquet of the last emperor, Puyi, soda was served to guests. Gotta get me some of that Dutch water. Do you think there's any brand that still calls itself Dutch water other than like Dutch Water Cola Company or something like that? Okay, microscope. The earliest microscope was invented in the 16th century with a magnetization only 9 times. Later, through the modifications by Antony von Leeuwenhoek, it reached a magnification of 300 times. By the 17th century, microscopes were introduced to China during the reign of the Yangtze Emperor, and Qianlong Emperor wrote a poem titled Ode to the Microscope. However, the object described in the poem was actually a magnifying glass. Microscopes did not receive much attention at the time and only began to play a role in production and daily life during the period of the Republic of China. I don't think we would have gotten Travels of Marco Polo yet. Oh, you know what? Actually, we might have. Let me double check that. Hold on. Because we got the mention of the 40 days around the world in 80 days thing, right? Clippers, Magic and Light, Sigmund Freud, Jack the Ripper. Okay, this stuff I think is from the next... Oh, yeah, this is from the next case. Travels of Marco Polo. Travels of Marco Polo primarily narrates the observation and experiences of Italian explorer Marco Polo during his time in the Yuan dynasty. In addition, it also documents some aspects of the customs and cultures of other Asian countries. It's not only a representative work of world travel literature, but also opened the door for the closed Western world at the time to understand China. For better or for worse, pastries. On the lower bunk is a plate of pastry, similar in color and shape to the two peach blossoms. This is Victory Cake, a snack from southern China. Hafu likes his sweets. Okay, that's everything in here that isn't talking to her, it looks like. Wu Yen Chu. Miss Yen Chu, are you feeling better now? Well, sure, I guess. I still can't believe that Yin Zhao was... She was... Miss Yen Chu. Don't think back on it or you'll feel bad again. Yeah. There are still a few questions I need to ask you, Miss Yin Chao. To your knowledge, Miss Yin Chao, has Madame Yin ever had any grudges with anyone? I've been studying abroad, so I have no idea. How is her relationship with you three? I'm sure he'd love some soda also. Yeah, actually, he would probably love cola water. T-Man and Yin Zhao have more frequent contact. Ling Xun, like me, doesn't come home often. I've only heard Ling Xun say that Yin Zhao and T-Man have some strong grudges. Grudges? What kind of grudges? It's nothing. I'm not involved in money-related issues. I just noticed she's like rubbing some kind of like luck charm or something. Questions about yourself. Earlier, why did you suddenly leave the dining hall? I didn't like the mood at the mahjong table. I couldn't catch my breath. I was afraid my asthma would relapse, so I went back to my room to take medicine. At the time, was Madame Yin still inside the room? Yes. It's like one of the mahjong cards? Yes, she was. Did you see anyone suspicious, Yinshu? No. My chest felt stuffy, so after I took my medicine, I went to the bow of the ship for some air. There are still a few questions I need to ask you. Okay, well, we asked the two. He's having a heart infarction. I don't remember. Oh, it looks like he has something to say. And then a thing, and then the other thing. But the thing with the stuff. What? It's curious how you read that. I've got to do something for a sound effect for that nonsense. I mean, when when we went through, what was it? One of the Mega Man modules, every time that came up, I just did, But I feel like with the way they're doing the facial expressions and stuff, can you read this? Something along those lines, probably. But I mean, they have facial expressions that go along with the dots, right? So I had to give it a little bit of a twist for this, because in Mega Man it was just like a stone face, like their brain had just shut off. But with this, they're like freaking out and stuff. So I have to give it a little bit of a different kind of emphasis on it to make it more relevant to the plot, right? Okay. I mean, you saw someone suspicious? Because like his hands are like shaking, he's so excited. So I have to put a little bit of like breathiness of like he's squeezing, like you got a little bit of a, you know, clench going on. Huh? He said he's not human? Uh-oh, he's got the doctor gloves on. Everyone look out. Allow me to take a look. All right. Please also soak this tweezer in hot water, then dry it with a clean cloth. Well, if she's just about to pour like hot water on it from a tea kettle. I don't know, you read it in a way where you make the characters constipated. Well, that's because he looks constipated in that one. When he's like shaking like that, he is constipated. But the other ones are more like confusion and stuff. So it's more of a... well, you see. It's a little bit more of like a confused, I don't know what to say in this situation kind of thing. Avu, please open your mouth wide. There's a slight dislocation of the hyoid bone. Mr. Shin, here. Afu, maintain your current posture. Then slowly stick out your tongue. Hold still. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Ouch! I can freak it now. I forgot about this part. I was just thinking, like, I remember I gave him a weird accent at one point, but I couldn't remember when, and this is it right here. Detective, how did you do that? That's amazing. You scared me 2 times. Now I can ever thank you. You are welcome. I was inside the cabin. I was so dizzy I couldn't speak at all. Thank goodness you spoke up for me. Otherwise, Earl, what's making you laugh? It's nothing. Huh? How come I'm speaking with a lisp? You're unable to speak because you dislocated your hyoid bone from excessive fright. Although the hyoid bone has been repositioned, the muscles have not yet fully recovered. What do we do? There's no need to worry too much. I had a similar experience when I was a child. Just rest. Okay, thanks. Detective, do you need me to join your investigation? I'll tell you everything I know. Take your time. You should rest well first. The same goes for you, Miss Yinshu. Without further instructions, do not leave the cabin. Okay. Okay. Oh. Elle, I've investigated all that I could. We should go see if Joseph is in need of our assistance. No problem. Okay. Where is... Return to the deck. Trying to remember exactly where the episode after this is. I think it's after the first round of accusations. Wait, steam valve. Mr. Shin, are you looking at the paddle wheels? They differ from the paddle wheels I often see while studying abroad. Heard that the shipmaster says that the shani was designed and handmade by the 2 Lord Hosu. Interesting. Is there anything else new that's been added? I'm actually a big fan of the paper charm idea. I think it has a very cool visual aesthetic to it. Oh, they've actually been locked in? Oh, no, that's the other one. No, that's Yinshu and Madame Yen's cabin. Putiman and Afu's cabin. Yeah. Like, that's one of my favorite things about Warhammer 40k, is that the Space Marines put the, like, wax-sealed blessing paper on themselves. I think that's pretty interesting. I saw a news article about how apparently that has started popping up in the Ukraine war, is that people on both sides have been, like, photos have emerged of people doing that, like, of their own volition with no real, like, intended purpose from, like, the higher up, but they've seen Ukrainian, like, sergeants and stuff and Russian sergeants with, like, homemade Warhammer 40k style, like, sealed wax blessings and stuff like that. John, perfect timing. Help me carry Hashu's body into the crew cabin as well. Alright. Wait a second. Something here seems peculiar. Don't scare me, Mr. Shin. There's a change on the body. Someone's tampered with it. Her hair. How could Madame Yen's hair grow longer? What? But what? There's no way that Madame Yen is still alive, right? Unless everything Master Wu said is true. No, don't be stupid. The supernatural are not involved. But what exactly is going on? Her hairpin. Someone has stolen Madame Yin's hairpin. That's why her hair came loose, and looks like it grew longer. Did somebody steal her hairpin? You know what's what, huh? Yin Zhao's hairpin can't be bought with money. The silversmith who made it used to work in the palace. That craftsmanship is long lost now. However, that hairpin was exquisitely crafted. It could have also been an act of greed. Mr. Shin, do you think the murderer stole it? That is a possibility. If the murderer stole it, there may be an important clue hidden on the hairpin. Missing hairpin. Somebody has stolen Madame Yin's hairpin. It is exquisitely crafted and the craftsmanship is long lost. Elle, turn on the lights. We need to thoroughly investigate the crew cabin. The person who stole the hairpin might have left traces within the room. Okay. Oh wait, notebook? There's a notebook with a pin at the front foot of the bed. The Travels of Ling is written on the title page with an association of a ship with wings. The notebook is filled with the dense and scribbled handwriting. In 1957, Ling boarded a flapping-winged airship named the Thunderous Dawn. In search of clues to evolve into the perfect man, he began his journey across the world. I didn't know Ling Shin was writing a novel. Huh? Mr. Shin, there are 2 pieces of paper inside. The first piece of paper reads Global Travel Plan and marks the route on a scribbled map. I mean, that's pretty correct for a world map. I'm not sure what some of these are referencing, since they look like the notes are actually in Chinese, but... The second piece of paper roughly calculated the expenses of traveling across the globe. Mr. Shin, what does global travel mean? Why does it cost so much? Just borrow and read Mr. Ling Shin's book, Around the World in 80 Days, and you will know. Okay, locked door. Elle, does this door lead to the stowage? It's the engine room. Uncle Ling says the machines are dangerous, so it's locked during work. Okay. Examine upper bunk. There are 2 empty wine jars and garbage on the bed. The pillow and bedding are also a mess. Without a doubt, this bunk belongs to Hao Chu. That is indeed old Hao's bunk. Elle, do you know the reason for his alcoholism? Old Hao liked to repeat this one nursery rhyme. The bride smiled brightly on her wedding day. The Lung King came and swept her away. Oh, I know that book. Yeah, I mean, Around the World in 80 Days is a very popular, well-known book and movie, and I think it was a show for a little while? Maybe a mini-series on, like, the BBC? I read! Well, that's good, Iggy. That's important. I'm happy you read. I mean, how do you play D&D if you can't read, right? How did you build an awesome D&D character without being able to read? Cruel fate. This may have been something he personally experienced. No wonder old Hal always said this nursery rhyme was set up for him. Examine lower bunk. The lower bunk is tidier than the upper bunk. It belongs to first mate Wu. There's a map of the world drawn on with circles, dots hanging on the wall. Around the map are some posters and postcards depicting scenic spots from various regions. A few books including Around the World in 80 Days and The Travels of Marco... Oh, there's the Travel of Marco Polo thing. Okay. So that would have popped up now. Reading. It's radical. Madame Yin's body. Madame Yin's hairpin has been stolen. With her hair loose, the body seems a bit terrifying. Other than that, nothing else is out of place. Wrinkled paper. There's several scattered pages behind the ladder. They appear to be wrinkled. Drinking a night below deck, I stayed. Waking at dawn, my work is delayed. If that's the state that has come to pass, why not just go pour another glass? An empty stomach save last night's wine leaves me sad, so I cry and I whine. You don't rhyme wine and wine. I'll spend all my money on booze. Tomorrow morning, I still hit snooze. I don't think they would have had electrical alarm clocks for hitting snooze buttons, but maybe I'm wrong. Is this poem written by Hao Chu? Yeah, Old Hal likes to write stuff like this when he's bored. Wait, Annika, what's that? I can't read that. Yeah. I know, I know every word. I can read every word except read. What? It reminds me of this show. It's one of my favorite jokes from this old show called The Oblongs. But basically, these two bigger kids are bullying this little kid, and they tell him like, "Hey, I want you to come back here after school or something." They give him some kind of ultimatum about like what he needs to do, or they're gonna beat him up. And they go, "Comprende?" And the other kid goes, "Yeah, everything but that last word." And the bullies like stop, and they kind of look at each other, and they're like, "Wait, how do you, what?" And then they like, they just stare at him for a couple seconds, and then they like shove him and walk off. And I don't know why that gets me so hard when I think about it. It's just the perfect setup for like the getting one at the dumb bullies. But just their reaction to it is so good. The Oblongs was a very funny show. I would argue it's probably a little ahead of its time. I think if it had been maybe like 10 years later, well, maybe not even necessarily 10 years later, like 5 years later, it probably would have gotten more attention, and probably been altered a little bit to make it a little bit more like successful. But for its time, it was hilarious. I'm surprised it never got a second season. Well, sort of surprised. There's at least one very famous voice actor on it that went on to be incredibly famous later on. The dad is the guy from SNL from Elf. I can't remember what his name is, but the dad is voiced by him. So it's probably one of those things where he started to get famous and really didn't want to come back and do voice acting for some like kind of obscure adult cartoon. But Oblongs, very funny. It's a good one-season watch. I'm an umper bunk. There's no mess on the bunk at all. The bed is made perfectly neat and in order. What is? I guess it's just the blanket. Understand? This used to be Shipmaster Lowe's bunk. He gave it to me after I came aboard. Then how does the shipmaster usually rest? He stays in the wheelhouse. I guess there's got like a fold-up cot in there or something. Lower bunk. The bedding on the lower bunk is wrinkled but tidy. There are newspaper clippings on the wall. This is Uncle Ling's bunk. He enjoys reading the newspaper during his free time. The magic troupe faces crippling financial crisis. Shanghai trip becomes Swan Song trip. I liked this visuals of this. That's a good magic act thing. Good reputation out the door. Commercial Sea Legends no more. Which I like the rhyming of that. Really reminds me of the reporter lady. I don't remember what her name is. I can never remember her name. Another strange case of the waters of the Loon King Temple. Escort ship gone missing. Oh, look, there she is again. And the hat. Let me record this. Joseph might be interested in the contents of the newspaper clippings. Report to the magic troops financial crisis, the death of tea merchant Wu Ashen, which... the Wu, and the missing escort ship. Okay, Hao Chiu's body. There's nothing unusual about Hao Chiu's body. We had just moved him down here. Pillow. There's something under the pillow. There's a roughly made light yellow coat skirt embroidered with several ducks. So this is what Uncle Ling has been secretly sewing for days. He wouldn't let us look at it. Old Ling seemed like a rugged man. I did not expect him to know embroidery. Who could this meticulously sewn woman's coat skirt be made for? I remember Uncle Ling had a daughter, but she passed away a few years ago. Or did the shipmaster say her death anniversary was soon? Maybe it was an offering for her? And then the soda canisters. do these sodas belong to you? Actually, Ling Shen brought them on board. Teehee, but I just absolutely love drinking cola water, so I made a deal with him. Every time I help Ling Xin wash the vegetables or do dishes, he gives me a bottle. I like to learn embroidery so I can put little Cthulhus on things. Fair. Mr. Shin, did you discover any clues related to the person who stole the hairpin? Curtains, sofa cushions, guest towels, etc. Yeah. As of now, there are no signs of any outsiders entering the crew cabin. You talking about putting Cthulhu on things just put a really weird memory in my head. Oh, I hadn't thought about that in a long time. All we have found are preliminary traces of the crew's lives. What's stopping you? That's true. I mean, I feel like embroidery is one of those things where you can just pick up, like, the minimal tools and, like, watch a YouTube video on and get started. And it could be that. This ringing. I heard it earlier in the dining hall as well. It's the sound of the engine telegraph. The shipmaster wants to adjust the ship's speed. Laziness? I'd have to order the tools? Yeah. It'll stop ringing once Uncle Ling handles it. Clang, clang, clang. The clanging continues. Why is there not yet to be any response? That's a great question. Old Ling, are you inside? Please open the door. Uncle Ling, open the door. It's me, L. Something's not right. Let's break the door down and check it out. Dang, L. Bonk? Yeah. Gotta give a little bonk for the laziness, but... Mr. Shin, please. Please save Uncle Ling. He lost so much blood. I'm sorry, but he has breathed his last. How could this be? Wow, Uncle Ling. A third Mahjong card has appeared near Ling's body. Card found close to old Ling's body showcases the 7 of characters. It's already the 3rd homicide that has occurred on the ship. Who could it be? Why are they committing serial murder? Ao Chu was the first to die. A 9 of characters Mahjong card appeared next to him. Next was Madame Yen. She had the card 8 of characters. The 3rd was Old Ling. His card was 7 of characters. Mahjong cards seem to be counting down. Numbers are weird, and I don't know Mahjong at all because I'm from Europe, kind of. Mickey, you can deliver me an embroidery set? Imagine dying that easy. He got stabbed in the heart with a hairpin. How is that dying easy? The clanging sound is really noisy, making it impossible to think. Elle, do you know how to turn off that noise? Sniffle, yes, I do. We need to adjust the engine telegraph next to the steam cylinder. Quickly. I'm gonna run all the way over here. The door is open. It leads to the dining hall. I should go there after investigating the engine room are complete. Engine telegraph. Bro never played Elden Ring? Yeah, it's really hard to learn how to dodge roll in real life. Man was killed voodoo doll style. It's a little bit bigger piece of hairpin than that, but yeah. It's more like hair letter opener size than hairpin size, but I get what you mean. That shows his killer walked right up to him and he failed to live. Well, they'll talk about that later. I'll try to find you. Give me 3 full years. Yeah, you could probably walk the whole extension of England in 3 years to try to find her. That makes sense. Just to be the engine telegraph. Excellent, I'll be waiting. Just you sitting in a room on like a rocking chair with like a with a sword that you're just sharpening with a stone. 3 years. This seems quite complicated. Head astern. Mr. Shen, the yellow indicator is pointing toward the speed the shipmaster wants. Pointer indicates dead slow ahead. Adjust the handle on the engine telegraph to the same position, then pull the top lever. Once that's done, the speed of the ship will be adjusted and the bell will stop ringing. So slow ahead and then full ahead? The ear-piercing clanging has finally stopped. Now I need to carefully investigate the scene. Mr. Shin, how come you're the one adjusting the engine telegraph? Where's Old Ling? Wait, why am I sharpening a sword? Must I kill Iggy for the items? You must earn the kit by combat. That's reasonable, yeah. I don't know, if I imagined you waiting for someone to find you over the course of 3 years, they're gonna show up and you're gonna have a sword. I don't know. That's just how I picture it. Well, I mean, you're British, so you wouldn't have a gun, and I feel like a longbow probably wouldn't fit inside of a house very well, so you just have a sword. Would it be more appropriate to say you have a zombie knife, even though I'm not actually sure what that is? Either that, or you compensate with the plane tickets. That would also make sense. But in the grand scheme of things, that seems like a net loss of cost efficiency. Knife crime is more our thing. Okay, so you're just sitting there with a zombie knife, whatever that means. It's one of those things I keep hearing about on the news that was a big problem for a while, is that everyone's getting stabbed with zombie knives, but I don't know what that means. They never really described it as anything but a large knife that one might use to stab a zombie. I'm like, that's incredibly vague. Is that like a, not even that, just a steak knife? Oh, really? Then why are you calling it a zombie knife? Just call it a steak knife. What are you doing? Get your media in order over there. Over here, it would be like they were wielding a small katana, and it's like, that's a steak knife. What are you talking about? No, I mean, oh, you'd have a steak knife. Oh, that makes sense. That's probably something reasonable to have around the house. Yeah, I don't know. They keep talking about zombie knives over there, and I'm very curious what that is as someone who is a mild fan of zombies. I'm sure there are folks some rapiers there. Yeah. No, just a full long sword just sitting on your lap, doing one stone, like an oiled one stone sharpening with it. Shipmaster, Uncle Ling, he's dead. Wah. No one responded to the engine's telegraph, so Mr. Joseph suggested me to come take a look. Alas. John, how's the situation on site? I've also just arrived at the scene. Then let's investigate together, shall we? Here, hold my hand. Play with my hair a little bit, just a little. They look like modular machetes. Huh, okay. Okay, that makes sense, I guess, for a zombie knife. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess when I picture a zombie knife, it sounds a little bit more post-apocalyptic than just a machete, but machetes are pretty post-apocalyptic in their own right, so. Shipmaster Lou? Shipmaster Lou, there are still a few questions I would like to ask you. Don't hesitate to ask, Mr. Shen. RGB lights? I mean, that would be interesting. That sounds like something you would get out of Dead Rising or Island of the Dead? What was that one called? I can't remember the one on the island. Is it just Dead Island? Where you make your own weapons, but you could add like fire and electricity to them and stuff? And like the RGB cables distract them or like blind them every time you stab a zombie, so they're temporarily stunned. It's very similar to like an electrical shock thing, but the difference is like these last longer, but technically if you touch them, they can still damage you or something. Shipmaster, how did you and Old Ling get to know each other? Old Ling used to frequent this ship, but then he fell on hard times and stayed aboard to work. Fell on hard times? I heard Ling Shin say that Old Ling used to be a guard for his family. But when his daughter caught a strange disease, he left the Woos in search of a cure. Even after spending all of his money, he still lost the child. Thus are the trials and tribulations of being parents. Don't hesitate to ask, Mr. Shen. Okay. Were I to find myself zomboid bit, I would try finding a suit of armor to wear. A suit of armor is always a funny one to me. I would like to see a movie that tackle that concept, but I don't think I've ever seen that in a zombie movie. Unless maybe it's one of those ones that they have that's like, what was it? The dark, what was that one called? Like the Dark Curse. Then it had Nicolas Cage back in like the 1400s, and he has to like transport a witch to a monastery or something. And they deal with a bunch of supernatural monsters attacking them. You might get some zombie, anti-zombie with armor stuff in that. I haven't watched that movie in forever, and I don't think I've ever sat down and actually watched it. I've just seen parts of it. I think I like the idea of a shark bite suit versus zombies, though. I think that's like a fun modern version of that. I would be the zombie knight. That would be interesting to see. Imagine, that would probably be a boss, right? That would be like a second level boss. It wouldn't be a final boss, but it would be like a second... It would either be a second level mini boss or a first level final boss, right? Where it's a zombie, but it has armor. And it's not like SWAT armor where you can just like shoot them in the legs. It's full body armor, so you have to like hit them in the back until the strap comes off, and then part of the armor falls off, and then you have to hit a different strap until you find the weak spot. You know what I mean? About motives. Has Old Ling ever been on unfriendly terms with anyone? He's a martial artist. He must have made a few enemies back in the day when he traveled the land. But I can't think of anyone on this ship who would have wanted to kill Old Ling. What is the relationship like with the other crew members on board? Old Ling's quite closed off. He doesn't talk much to anyone else except for Elle. I hired Elle to work in the engine room, but Old Ling wouldn't let her touch the steam engine. He only gave her simple jobs like working the engine telegraph, protecting her like his own. I hesitate to ask. About Elle. Zombie Knight made me think of a knife that's actually a mimic that bites your hand to zombify you or something. I could kind of see that, yeah. Turns you into a knife? I mean, that would be an interesting take on Soul Eater. Huh. Or there was that one guy from Yu Yu Hakusho when they went to the demon tournament, and he would turn into a knife so that his brother could use him in combat. That was a weird one. They had to make special rules that technically made that legal since the brother wasn't helping. He was only turning into a weapon and not actually helping during combat. Would you rather be a zombie or a knife? Well, I mean, I've thought about that. Once I die, getting my body turned into a diamond and having it embedded into like a sword or something. So I guess technically a knife, since a zombie wouldn't really do me any good. I would just be a walking hazard to everybody. But as a knife, I could, you know, be used to cut things like food or stabbing people, which would be fun, I bet. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with knife. All right, about Elle. Shipmaster Liu, you said that Old Ling and Elle were like father and daughter. Yes, Elle has been a child suffering from cruel fate. Her parents are both dead, and she was almost maimed for theft before Old Ling saved her. Old Ling believes she was a good kid after finding out she stole to pay back her parents' debt. He helped her pay off part of the debt and brought her on board to work on the ship. Elle also treasured their relationship and treated Old Ling well. I hesitate to ask. Okay. I want to be fed to a polar bear. I think that they'd appreciate it. I mean, bears are pretty, you know, resilient. I think they would be kind of fine with it. Knife is cool, and then you can be reforged in the future to be some robot's butt or something. Oh, that sounds hilarious, actually, Ika. Or, Iggy. Like, now I'm just picturing Futurama. There's an episode of, Rick and Morty. Always took Iggy for a butt man. But there's an episode of Rick and Morty where the dad, one of the dads, gets turned into like a living wooden mannequin puppet thing, and there's just all these scenes of him dying and then coming back and then dying and coming back over and over again as he goes through like the future. and he slowly turns from like his puppet self into a different thing, and then eventually ends up like being part of the wood that's used on Jesus, and then after that he ends up becoming like part of like a doorstop, and then after that he becomes part of like an ornament over the top of a hearth in a home and stuff. So you talking about me being a sword and then eventually I become like a robot's arm or butt or whatever, it actually is pretty funny to me. The red circular valve is installed on the piping connected to the boiler. Seems like it adjusts the cylinder's air inflow and the steam turbine's rotation rate. There are meters on both sides of the valve. The pointers are vibrating slightly. The position of the valve is in fully open state. The pointer also indicates maximum value. This adjusts the airflow of the steam turbine. The value is fully open and the pointer also indicates. I have a strange feeling about this steam valve. Something seems to be peculiar. Mr. Shin, only you could operate such a complex steam turbine properly. I do not deserve this praise, Shipmaster Liu. Doubt raised. Rotating gear. Can't believe how this is just open. Instead of huge cogwheels powered by the steam engine are rotating rapidly. At the center of the bull gear is a transmission shaft connected to the paddle wheels outside. It just seems so incredibly dangerous. Look, we're not going to judge you, Iggy. Whatever you're into, bud. Consenting adults and all that. Shipmate Ling. Oh, we still have to do the autopsy. Okay, so we got the hairpin face. We'll start with the card, since that's the most obvious relevance. There's a mahjong card placed next to the deceased. Seven of characters. Found the 7 of characters mahjong card near the deceased. Body? No defense wounds were found on the body of the deceased. Based on the surface features, there are no traces of drug influence. That's strange. Anyone would have dodged or fought back, not to mention he knew martial arts. Who needs OSHA? Yeah, you just leave it wide open. Nothing bad could happen. At that point, you're just asking for someone to trip and fall and a piece of something to fly into it and just get caught and the whole engine explodes or some nonsense. Hands. The deceased has rough hands. There are thick calluses on the joints and the back of his hands. It can be seen that he was once a martial arts practitioner. I think the first time we did this, I noticed we did the autopsy right away. And I'm like, he did martial arts. That's weird. Chest. The murder weapon pierced him through the heart, dealing him a fatal blow. The position and angle of the stabbing are consistent with Madame Yin's case. It's obvious the same murderer, but the weapon has changed from a candlestick to a hairpin. The weapon pierced the heart. Fatal strike. Yeah, no, stabbing someone in the heart is pretty fatal most of the time. The joints on his body are still flexible. Rigor mortis has yet to set in. There are signs of livor mortis on the legs, which fade in color when pressure is applied. Is the body already showing signs of livor mortis? Considering the high temperature in this room, the decomposition process must have quickened. Taken together, Oling's time of death is close to Madame Yen's? That's correct. The murderer killed 2 people in a short period of time without leaving excess traces. John, we've encountered quite the cunning opponent this time. Not nearly enough blood? Yeah. I think they're probably going with the same thing that happened with the candlestick. Tis just a scratch. With a candlestick where the wound is mostly closed off by the implement. So that's why it's not like everywhere. Though with this doesn't have the catch, like the wax catch like the other one. So you would think there would be more blood involved with this. Compared to Madame Yin and Hao Chu, Oldling's facial expression is relatively peaceful. The corners of his mouth are even slightly raised? John, what's the matter? Even so, that's a pre-iridium puncture and a white shirt. That's true. My brother, his expression before he died, the corners of his mouth were also raised. Could it be that That's just your imagination, John. After death, the facial muscles of the deceased are flaccid, meaning they are expressionless. When a sharp blade pierces the heart and causes a rupture, the victim dies instantly. His calm expression is just a result of muscular flaccidity after death. This case has nothing to do with Brian's case, and there are still homicides taking place. What you need to do now is put your nose to the grindstone and your shoulders to the wheel. Yes, you're right. Pericardium. Pericardium puncture, huh? Wait, cardium? Like, grab the, seize the day? Carpe diem? Also, instantly pressing X to doubt. Yeah, I mean, even a heart wound usually takes a few seconds before you pass away. Your brain's, it's kind of falls into the same category as like the head removal thing, right? Where you still get about 7 seconds of life just due to the oxygen that's already in your brain. Carpe diem, yeah, seize the day. You know, the thing that says go out and party all the time. And not at all references a thing that's talking about seizing the day and getting your life in order or any of that jazz. I don't want to go on that rant again. I've gone on that rant enough times about Carpe Diem. I don't think I need to do it again. Usually it'll stop me once I've gotten everything. Wait, I thought we talked... Oh, I guess the chest is not the weapon. Okay. The murder weapon is a hairpin with a green jade inlaid at the end. John, I recall Madame Yin wore a hairpin identical in design. Yes. I had just discovered Madame Yin's hairpin was stolen, yet now it has appeared here. The murderer must have had a special reason to use this hairpin as a murder weapon. Suspect to be Madame Yin's stolen hairpin. There we go. Pierced through the heart by a hairpin, no defense wounds were found. Rigor mortis has yet to set in. Speaking tube. Body collapsed near the speaking tube. If the lid of the speaking tube is closed. Well, there's a non-zero chance it just rotates back down after you let go of it. It depends on how it's designed, you know? Only chest that is a weapon is low poly Laura Crofts. Yeah, those were some pyramid chests, all right. You're not wrong. There might be like a Pokemon's that has like a stabby chest or something, but not like Laura Croft's. Yeah, double pyramid Laura Croft. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Well, there are a few questions I would like to ask you about Old Ling. Ask away, Mr. Shen. What was Old Ling's relationship with Hao Chu? Huh? One was reserved while the other had no inhibitions at all. Although they worked together, they rarely talked to one another. Who do you think would have wanted to end their lives? I don't know about old Hao, but I'm not sure that family had something to do... But I'm sure that that family had something to do with Uncle Ling. Do you mean the Woos? Mr. Shen, you still remember the newspaper clippings of Uncle Ling's wall, right? He seemed to be really concerned with how the Woos were doing lately. Okay. Oh. Okay, here we go. Cutscene. John, please check your pockets. What? I just found this in mine. I have a 2 of characters Mahjong card on me. I'm sure you've already noticed the relationship between the Mahjong cards and the Order of Death. These cards symbolize provocations from the murderer. Every person who received a card has now become their prey. What should we do now? We must not sit idly by for death to dawn upon us. Shipmaster Liu, please gather everyone at the dining hall immediately. Lockdown mode. Drop the anchor. Sound the siren of investigation. People gathered in the dining hall where Shen recounted what just happened. John has already introduced the situation of the 3 homicide cases. The 9, 8, and 7 of characters appeared next to the 3 victims, respectively. Earlier, John and I found Mahjong cards, the 2 and the 3 of characters in our pockets. These cards are most likely a countdown for the culprit's murder plan. I'd like to ask you all to see if you have any cards on your person. What the? How did this card appear out of nowhere? 6 of characters. That wouldn't mean that I'm the next target. I have a card too. It's a 5 of characters. Right after Master Wu. My card is the 4 of characters. First Mate Wu. Mine is 1 of characters. Going by order, it seems like I'm the last one. It appears all the missing character Mahjong cards are here. Wait a second. How come all of you have cards but I don't? Who knows? Isn't it because you're the one who placed them?
Well, now that you mention it, well, that would be suspicious.
I don't have a card on me either. They're torturing me by making me watch as my passengers and crew are killed one by one. Listen up, you murderer. If you want revenge, just come after me. Trapped in water. Nails and coffins. This wasn't done by man. It's the Loon King. The Loon King is after our lives. Loon King. The Loon King isn't after father's inheritance, though. Right, T-Men? Ling Shen, you... Why would you say that? Are you possessed by something? Everyone calm down and stop acting stupid. And by everyone, I mean you, T-Men. Everyone, please calm down. And 2 people share a brain cell. Good work, everyone. Afu feeling left out a little bit, just a little bit. I didn't know he was gonna say this, by the way. I have played through this again, but I didn't memorize the scene. The supernatural aren't behind this, but a serial homicide has indeed taken place on this ship. Beautiful, good work, you two. For our own safety, please remain in the dining hall and assist our search for the culprit. Mr. Joseph, before you begin, we need to make sure that you're trustworthy. Shipmaster Mr. Joseph is the new prosecutor of the Shanghai International Settlement. Nobody is more trustworthy than he is. Wingsham, I know Mr. Joseph quite well. However, I understand your concerns, Shipmaster. How about this? I will organize discussions and entrust John with the task of deductions. Throughout this evening, John and I, as well as Mr. Wu, Timen, have been in this dining hall. Shipmaster, I can also prove that Mr. Shen is a good person. Mr. Shen and Mr. Joseph have helped clear me of my suspicion, so I approve too. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Joseph, Mr. Shen, how do you two plan to find the murderer? The assassination technique and wounds on Old Ling and Madame Yen are exactly the same. This should be the work of the same murderer. Although how Chu's cause of death differs, a Mahjong card was also discovered next to him. In cases where consecutive crimes have been committed, the time is the most crucial information. Therefore, we need to confirm the alibis of everyone here. Now, my original thought for this was, I thought it was really suspicious that Wing Chu or Yin Chu or whatever, like, discovered the body, and she seemed like she could be, like, faking it. That was my initial thought. But like, the logic here is kind of weird, right? Like, Elle's been with us. We've disproven Afu. Joseph's been with us. We didn't do it. The captain seems to have a concrete alibi. So it kind of leaves these 3, right? Mr. Shin, what is an alibi? Any evidence that proves that you were not present at the time of the crime. Due to the relatively confirmed times of death of Madame Yen and Old Ling, I would like each of you to respectively state where you were, what you did, and evidence proving so during these 2 time periods. John and I will judge whether everyone has an alibi or not based on their statements. What if someone lies? If If someone lies, there will be contradictions between the testimonies to reveal who is lying. If there are no further questions, let's begin with Madame Yin's case. Last time we all saw Madame Yin was in the dining hall. Soon afterwards, she left the dining hall alone and returned to her cabin to rest. Then the power outage took place, causing Afu to trip over Madame Yin's body. Finally, power was restored. Miss Yinshu discovered the body and cried for help. Now, I would like everyone to talk about what you've been through from after Madame Yin left the dining hall to when power was restored. If they lie, they go overboard. I mean, that's one way of doing it. I told Mr. Shin that before the power went out, I met with Yin Zhao once. My chest felt stuffy after the module, so I went back to my room to take my asthma medicine. Then Yin Zhao asked me to teach her poker, but I refused because I wasn't feeling well. Is there anyone who could testify to what you said? Yes, there is. Afu came by saying he wanted to take some tool out from his cabinet. After Afu left, I went to the bow of the ship for some air. Ling Xin can testify for me. I felt better after a while, then as I was about to return to my cabin, the power went out. It was really dark, I was alone and scared, so I went to the cockpit to find Ling Xin. When power was restored, Ling Xin escorted me back to my room, and we found Yin Zhao. Very well. Next, please. Before the power outage, I was preparing dinner in the dining hall until L came back. I brought Kong Ji to the shipmaster in L's place, then spoke with Yin Chu when I saw her. After I went back to the cockpit, I took over the helm for a bit. Then the power went out. I was going to check it out, but Yin Chu came. She seemed scared, so I stayed with her instead. The rest is pretty much like what Yin Chu said, except I chased after Afu. It's hard not to suspect him when he looked so flustered, right? Very well. Next, Mr. Wu. What's there for me to say? I was at the dining hall before and after the power outage. You two both know that already. Next. I don't know when Madame Yin left the dining hall. Before the power outage, I was at the helm. During which L came by and Ling Xin brought me Kongji. After the power outage, Miss Yin Chu came. She looked quite scared. She was in the cockpit until the power was restored. Then Ling Xin escorted her back to her room. And next? I was working in the dining hall. Then Uncle Ling asked me to help in the engine room. What did he need your help with? He asked me to lend a hand while he prepared the joint on the condenser in the steam engine. Please continue. After that, Uncle Ling told me to look for Old Hal, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Then the shipmaster made me get his congé, so I went back to the dining hall. From then on, I was with Mr. Joseph and Mr. Shen the whole time. Alright, last but not least, Afu.
Is it finally my turn to speak? I've been wearing this speak so proudly.
Seems like Afu's tongue isn't that sharp yet.
Can you understand my testimony?
Speak slowly, I will listen carefully.
I was experimenting with my new invention, the vacuum glove box. I needed a Werner clamp, but it was in Madame Yin's room, so I went to go get it. I remember Madame Yin was smiling while holding poker cards, and Shu looked unhappy. After getting what I needed, I went back to the experimenting. Suddenly, the power went out. I messed up and got my hands stuck, so I had to go get more tools from that room.
Did you leave right away, or did you stay in your room for a while?
I guess right away. I had a kerosene lamp close by, so I picked it up and left. I just walked out the door when I saw a figure run out from the room towards the bow.
Did you get a good look at who the person was? It was too foggy. All I could be sure of was that I saw a figure.
I didn't think too much of it and went inside. You all know what happened after.
Very well. Everyone's testimonies just now were extremely detailed. Now I'll leave it to John. But, gentlemen, the way I see it, everyone here has that alibi you speak of. No. There is a contradiction between one of the first 5 testimonies and that of Afu's. Inquiry. Find the contradiction in the testimony. Okay. I've, Werner clamped with it.
Is in Madam Yen's room, so I went to go get it. I remember Madam Yen was smiling while holding poker cards, and she looked unhappy. I went back to experimenting, but the power went out, so I messed up and got my hand stuck. I'll have to get the tools, but I saw a figure run out from Madam Yen's room towards the bow. I didn't think too much about it and went inside. Y'all know what happened after.
I want to get a save in here because A, we haven't done that in a while, and B, I don't remember exactly. I don't remember the answers to most of this, so we're gonna have to at least solve that part in real time. I think. I don't remember how we confront on this. Okay, so we have to give the contradicting. Talk with the shipmaster, return to the dining hall to fetch after the power outage. I was with Mr. Shin and Mr. Joseph the entire time. And then we left the cockpit, during which L came by once. The helm. Kanji, after the power outage, Yinchu came, stayed until the power was restored. I was at the dining hall before and after the power outage, you all know that. First, I was preparing dinner in the dining hall, then I brought Kanji to the shipmaster in L's place and ran into Yinchu at the bow of the ship. I was at the helm when the shipmaster ate. After the power outage, Yinchu came. Once power was restored, I walked her back to her room. Anyhow, I'll have to get going. Bye. Okay, Iggy, have a good rest of whatever you're up to. See you later, friend. Okay. My chest felt tummy. I went to the bow of the ship for some air and saw Ling during the shipmaster Kanji. I was about to go back when the power went out. Now, no one was around. I was really scared, so I went to the cockpit. Like, I remember where this is going, but I don't remember how we got there. I went to the bow of the ship for some air and saw Linkson bring the shipmaster Kanji. I was about to go back when the power went out. No one was around. I was really scared, so I went to the cockpit. So if she was out there, she would have seen his light, right? I think that was the logic of this. This person. Afu's statement contradicts that of Miss Yinshu's. Mine? Huh?
Are you saying I should say something wrong?
During the power outage, Afu saw a figure run from Man Yin's room towards the bow. And yet, even though you were at the bow, Miss Yinshu, you did not see anyone. Maybe because it was too dark and foggy, and that's why I didn't see them? It's a wooden deck. If someone ran towards the bow, you would have heard footsteps. Did you hear any, Miss Yinshu? Maybe? That's the case? Yinshu, you're sounding a little guilty. I was too scared at the time, so I didn't notice. Gentlemen.
I know what's going on.
Go on, then.
Actually, there is a detail I forgot to share. The figure I saw left Madame Yin's room and went inside another room. Maybe Yinshu didn't see them because they hid inside Mr. Joseph's room.
Mr. Shin, didn't you notice someone breaking into your room to steal something? Could it be that the murderer... Could it be the murderer? That could be possible. However, only a bottle of red wine is missing. I wonder why the murderer would steal it. It's okay if we don't draw a conclusion for now. Let's begin the second round of inquiry. The last time we all saw Old Ling was also in this dining hall. Not long ago, John discovered that he had been stabbed to death in the engine room. The weapon that killed him was the hairpin Yin Zhao wore on her head. Since the hairpin had yet to be stolen during investigation of Madame Yin's murder scene, preliminary assessment shows that Old Ling's time of death was shortly after Madame Yin's. Now, I'd like everyone to talk about what you've been through after leaving Madame Yin's murder scene. Don't let the bed hippos bite? Man, that's a rough town you live in if you got bed hippos. After the incident, Ling Xin brought Afu and me back to the cabin to rest. Afu didn't seem well, so I brought him some pastries and cleaned the blood off of his hands. Then I spent some time trying to remove the box from Afu's hand. Not long after, Mr. Shin and Elle arrived. After Mr. Shin left, Afu and I stayed put until Shipmaster Lu assembled us. Very well, next please. After I helped Yin Shu and Afu settle down, I reported to the shipmaster at the cockpit. I love that it's the default outfit, not the one I chose. When Mr. Shin and Elle came to investigate, we all saw Ha Chu's body fall down. I took over the helm while the shipmaster went out to assess the situation. You were alone in the cockpit for so long. Is there anyone who can prove it? Isn't the fact that the ship didn't overturn and feed you to the Loon King the best proof? Pshaw! You can't say that word on a ship. It's bad luck. Bad luck, I tell you. Which word? Overturn? Why do you say it again? I swear, I know you're playing the same clip every time. It sounds like the end of that clip gets a little longer every time you guys play it. Like, every time you play it, it just adds like 3 extra seconds to the end of that clip for some reason. Why'd you say it again? Take it back, or else it's a bad omen. Enough, Mr. Wu T-Man. It's your turn to testify. Gentlemen, there is nothing for me to say, right? What? Feeling guilty? Guilty? Hey, your big brother is the least guilty person on this ship. Ever since I left the room, I've been reciting scriptures on deck to keep the ship safe. Everyone on board has seen and understands my hard work and dedication. Except you, Ling Xin. Honestly, I agree. It gets a little longer. A little longer? Yeah. It's longing itself. Every time you two play it, it gets a little longer. The long man haunts us still to this day by longing his own audio cues. That's enough. Next. While you were investigating Madame Yin's death, I was at the helm. After Hao Chu's body fell, I realized we were in danger and asked Ling Xin to take over. When Mr. Shen and Mr. Joseph were examining Hao Chu's body, I was by their side. Then Mr. Joseph asked many questions about Ha Chu and made me bring him to the cockpit. When no one responded to the engine telegraph, we went to the engine room together. When we arrived, Mr. Shen and Elle were already there. Very well, next please. I've been with Mr. Shen the entire time. We pretty much went to every single place on this ship. Alright, now the last one. After leaving the murder scene, I was resting inside the room. It was super quiet, I was feeling dizzy and wanted to sleep. But someone kept reciting scriptures. It wasn't that loud, but it was so annoying. Thank goodness Yin Shu took care of me and helped me take the vacuum glove box off. Then the detective came, fixed my tongue, and told us not to go outside. Very well. Now, everyone has provided new statements. Mr. Shen, is there anything wrong with the statements this time? Not everyone has explained everything they've been through fully. One person's description does not match the situation I saw during the investigation. Okay. Again, we're going to get another save in here just because I don't remember. We could probably replace that one, though. Okay, I was resting in Afu's room at the time. Afu wasn't feeling well, so I took care of him and helped him remove the box from his hand. Not soon after Mr. Shin and Elle came, we remained in the room after that. After I helped Yinshu and Afu settle down, I returned to the cockpit. Then Mr. Shin and El came. We saw Hachu's body fall from the roof. When the shipmaster went out to the deck to situation, I stayed at the helm. The description does not match the situation I saw during investigations. As I left the room, I've been reciting scriptures and praying for blessings on deck. Everyone saw how dedicated I was. I think it's this one because he went to go get the food. At first, I was at the helm. After discovering the murder of Hao Chu, I went to check the situation at the bow of the ship. Shin. After that, I was with Mr. Joseph. I helped Mr. Shin with investigations. We went to every place on the ship. I was rushing inside the room. I was feeling dizzy and wanted to sleep. It was super quiet except for someone who kept reciting scriptures. So annoying. Thank goodness Yinshu took care of me and helped me take the vacuum glove off. Then the detective fixed my tongue and told us not to go outside. As I left the room, I've been reciting scriptures and praying for blessings on the deck. I think it's this. Because A, we talked to him, so he stopped doing scriptures, but B, he also went to go get the food that he threw overboard. The person who did not explain everything fully was you, Mr. Temen. Master Wu, you said you were praying for blessings on the deck the entire time, but Mr. Shen and I didn't see you on the deck when we headed towards the cockpit. Oh, right, there's that too. A lot of preparations needed to be done to pray to the Loon King for blessings. All the different gods need different offerings. There's no point in explaining it to you. I was busy with this and that on the deck. Maybe we missed each other. It just adds like 2 seconds every time you play it. Because at the end of that clip, he said there's like a background voice that says long. And I swear the first time you played that clip, you heard the start of it, but you didn't hear it end. And that last time you played it, I swear we heard the whole length of him saying long. It's weird magic, or you guys are like, you're gaslighting me or something. I was busy with this and that on the deck. Maybe we missed each other? If Wu T-Man was on the deck the entire time, what does the appearance of this item mean? That's a great question. Oh. I think it was this. I went through a bunch of these, I think, last time, but we figured out this because this is one of the coins from his sword thing. Mr. T-Man, have you ever noticed that a copper coin is missing from your sword? Oh, I didn't. This copper coin must have helped me dodge a bullet. I guess it's the one missing right here, since this one has an additional one past the double. Coincidentally, I found this missing copper coin. I now return it to you. You have my thanks. What's more coincidental is that I found it inside my cabin. Mr. T-Man, how did you explain this? Well, that's... T-Man, you're not the murderer that Afu saw enter Mr. Shin's room, are you? Wu Ling Shin, you ungrateful brat, don't you sling mud at me. I remember the copper coin was still on your sword when we investigated Madame Yin's room. Oh, actually he's missing two then. Because... Oh, it's just this one's missing from this side. I thought the one had fallen off on this side, but it's actually this one turning it into one. Okay. The candlestick moved on its own. The Loon King is after our lives. At the moment, I believe that you were not the person Afu saw. However, about your sneaking into my room, I need a reasonable explanation from you. You see, well, there was the time with the thing, and I was really thirsty for some wine. After Yan Zhao's incident, I did go to Mr. Shin's room, but I only did it for the safety of everyone on board. A Taoist priest told me that we needed to prepare 6 bags of pork for the Loon King. But there wasn't enough on this ship, so I had no choice but to mix in some pig ears and snout. I didn't want to risk angering the Loon King, so it just sounds like it gets a little longer each time. I didn't want to risk angering the Loon King, so I borrowed the wine from your cabin. To be honest, I need to talk... What? That sounds like a cat saying, like, long long or something. I don't know why that's called Long Long Johnson, but alright. Sure, why not? To be honest, I need a top quality aged wine. Using this foreign wine made me nervous. Where are these offerings now? I split them into 3 yin and 3 yang bags, then threw them all one by one into the river. What? You threw all the pork I stored into the water? Am I red Bordeaux? How much do those things cost? I'll pay you. I was going to tell you, but you all seemed busy. Wooty Man should be telling the truth now. I saw him throw the offerings into the water. 1 bag to suppress the demons. 1 bag to remove ill fortune. Bonk. Don't blame me, don't blame me. Here's an ample portion of pork, along with some pig ear and snout to pay our respects. If you choose to accept it, please clear away the bad omens in this water. And then we hit a... It is? Oh, okay. And then we ran into a finless porpoise. The Vooty Man is telling the truth, and a contradiction exists in this statement. Okay. New, more up-to-date update. Okay. Died. I went to... Wait, what? Vooty Man is telling the truth, and a contradiction... Oh, because... Oh, no. Okay, is it his? Oh, because someone kept reciting scripture, but he left, so he wasn't actually reciting it the whole time. Also, did you hear anything else besides the sound of someone reciting scriptures? Huh? Nothing else. That sound alone was enough to make me dizzy. Are you sure? I'm sure. If you were so focused on the noise outside your door, you must have also heard the sound of Mr. Wu tossing the bags of offerings and his shouting. 1 bag to remove the ill fortune. Bonk. Those sounds should have been more ruckus. That's true. However, I really didn't hear the sounds that you speak of, Detective. Afu, how could this be? Maybe it's because I fell asleep? According to Afu's description, he must have fallen into an unconscious due to vasovagal syncope. Afu, your testimony won't be taken into consideration, but this is crucial information. John, you know what this means. Afu was unconscious within the time Madame Yin and Old Ling were murdered. Someone is unable to provide a reliable alibi. Identify. Well, she's the only one who was hanging out with him. Everyone else had stuff going on. The person who is unable to provide a reliable alibi during 2 crucial time frames is you. Miss Yin Chu. Yin Chu? Mr. Shin, could you two be mistaken? How could my sister possibly be the murderer? Vafu was unconscious. This means that he cannot provide an alibi for Miss Yin Chu. When Madame Yin was murdered, Miss Yin Chu said she was alone at the bow of the ship. Other than her brief encounter with Mr. Lingshin, no one can prove it. Does that mean everyone else is innocent? John, please tell us how you come to this conclusion. Given the murderer's consistent modus operandi, especially the recurring mahjong cards, we can confirm that in the same perpetrator committing these serial crimes. Same murderer commits crimes in succession. Major premise. By confirming the alibis, we can rule out several suspects. Method elimination. Basis alibi. In Hao Chu's case, we cannot rule out anyone because too many details are unconfirmed. Unable to eliminate anyone. Madame Yin was killed after she left the dining hall and before Afu entered the room. We can rule out Wu Timin, Joseph Bell, Shen Shuping, who have remained in the dining hall. Due to vasovagal syncope and other reasons, Afu has been proved innocent. Old Ling was murdered after Madame Yin's body was moved and before I entered the engine room. We can rule out L, who was with me the whole time, and Wu Lingxin, who was at the helm. As well as Shipmaster Lu, who was with Lingxin half the time and Joseph the other half. The only person who cannot be ruled out is Yin Chu. Oh yeah, even the piece of string is broken on this end. Okay, that makes sense. Yin Chu, you're not possessed by the Loon King, are you? Oh. That's an interesting that's an interesting tell. I didn't notice that before.
Long may
It just gains a second and a half every time you play it. No, it wasn't me. I promise, I stayed inside the cabin the whole time. The sound of offerings being tossed into the water, I heard it. Miss Yan Chu, I must remind you. Hearing the sound of offerings falling into the water cannot prove you were in the room. You could also hear that sound from outside of the room. Then what should I do? There's no need to be overly nervous. Carefully recall the people, places, and things that can provide you with an alibi. Okay. Now she's just rubbing her hands. There's no card here. Please provide a more detailed account of your experiences before and after the power outage. Testimony. Before and after the power outage. My chest felt stuffy after the module, so I hurried back to my room to take my asthma medicine. Then Yin Zhao came asking me to teach her poker, but I refused because I wasn't feeling well. We were talking when Afu came by saying he wanted to get a tool. According to Afu, he said you looked unhappy. What happened? That was because Yin Zhao messed up my suitcase, so I was upset. I understand. Please continue. After Afu left, I went to the bow of the ship for some air. I ran into Ling Xin on his way to bring the shipmaster Kanji, and we spoke a few words. I felt better after a while, and I was about to return to my cabin. The power went out. I was alone and scared, so I went to the cockpit to find Ling Xin. Nissian Chu, from the bow to the cockpit, are you sure you did not meet anyone? I didn't notice. It was really dark without a single spark of light. All I wanted was to find Ling Xin. Thankfully, he was in the cockpit with the shipmaster. A contradiction exists between Miss Yin Chu's description and this piece of evidence. So, there's a couple contradictions, clear contradictions in this, right? First of all, she said she stayed in the room, and I think, if I remember correctly, this doesn't come up, but you'll have to double check in the next video. She went to go get pastries, and that never comes up. Like, no one mentions that other than the one time it's mentioned at the beginning, and so I don't know what the pastries thing was about. I guess it was just another detail or something. Or just a reinforcement that Afu likes sweets, maybe. I'm not sure. But I think the thing that's most relevant for this one, Miss me to teach her poker, because she messed up my suitcase. We were talking when Afu came by, saying he wanted to get a tool. After Afu left, I went to the bow of the ship from air and spoke with Ling Xin. Found I was scared and went to find Ling Xin in the cockpit. The way to the cockpit was dark without a single spark of light. I didn't notice anyone else. All I wanted was to find Ling Xin. Thankfully, he was in the cockpit with the shipmaster. I think, if I remember right, this was the contradiction because she should have seen Afu coming out of his room. I think. Messian Chu, are you sure that surroundings were pitch black? Yes, I'm sure. You did not see a single spark of light at all. Yes, not a single spark. That is unreasonable. Afu was holding a kerosene lamp on the deck, and you were facing towards him. How could you have not seen a single spark of light? But I really didn't see any light. Mr. Joseph, Mr. Shin, my sister has always been afraid of the dark. If she really saw light back then, she wouldn't have been so scared. Maybe she entered the cockpit at a different time than Afu leaving his room. Both Afu and Miss Yanshu changed their courses of action right after the power outage. I guess right away, I had a kerosene lamp close by, so I picked it up and left. When the power went out, I was scared and went to find Ling Shin in the cockpit. But it's impossible for them to act at this exact same time, right? Slight time difference doesn't invalidate John's theory. Eyes are sensitive to light and darkness. Heavy fog tonight, the moon and stars are hidden by clouds. After the power outage, Afu's kerosene lamp should have been the only source of light on deck. In this case, Min Shu would have noticed the light when the lamp was inside the room. Then Afu must be lying. I believe Yanshu isn't lying, but what I say is also the truth. Afu says he walked out with a lamp and saw someone running towards the bow. Yet Miss Yanshu says she didn't see anyone or any light on her way to the cockpit. Could it be possible that they are both telling the truth? We're both mistaken. Afu saw Yanshu. Yanshu had her back to towards Afu. I mean, this would explain why she didn't see the light. Yanshu had her back towards Afu and her face towards the bow of the ship. She would have been unable to see the light behind her. And she should not go to the cockpit from the bow, but instead from Madame Yin's room. The person Afu saw was Yanshu. Miss Yanshu, you left from Madame Yin's room instead of going to the bow. Instead of the bow to go to the cockpit. That is why you did not notice the light from the kerosene lamp behind you. After you ran into Ling Shin, there is a long period of time where you do not have an alibi. You lied and said you stayed at the bow, when in fact you returned to your cabin. It is very likely that you murdered Madame Yin during this time frame. No, that's not true. Mr. Shin, didn't Afu say he saw the murderer entering your room? Yanshu came to the cockpit. With all the fog at night, Afu could not tell which room Yanshu actually entered. That's true. Mr. Wu Timen breaking into my room to steal wine was after Madame Yin's incident. Other than that, there were no traces of a second person breaking in. Even if the person Afu saw was Yanshu, that doesn't mean that she's the murderer. Maybe all she did was go back to her room. If Yanshu was not the murderer, upon her return, she would have run into the murderer. If Yanshu was not the murderer, she would have run into the murderer upon her return. No wonder she seemed so scared when she got to the cockpit. Yanshu, did the murderer threaten you? If you know who they are, just point them out. Everyone in this room is on your side. No, it's nothing like that. John, Yanshu running into the murderer is only one of many possibilities. Based on your analysis just now, I'm sure you can derive more definitive conclusions. What? If Yanshu was not the murderer, upon her return, she would have... discovered the body? After Yanshu left the room, Afu entered right after finding Madame Yin dead. If Yanshu was not the murderer, she must have already discovered the body. Why did she choose not to tell Shipmaster Liu and Lingstrom immediately? Miss Yanshu, what's the meaning of this? Did you already discover the body before you came to the cockpit? Why are you stuttering? I don't know what to say.
Master Wu, stop scaring Yanshu. She's speechless. Detective, I don't think Yanshu is a bad person. You say that she's the murderer, then she needs motive, right? Why would she murder her own sister-in-law?
Speaking of motives, I'm afraid it is related to this item left at the crime scene. Indicate the item possibly related to the crime motive. It's gotta be the suitcase, right? Because we know this isn't related. I can't imagine why this would be related. This did go missing, but why wouldn't she have taken it at the time? It's gotta be this. Because that would happen after she died, which is when we're implying that Yen Chu was there. This is the and it's her suitcase. I forgot about that part. This is Yen Chu's suitcase. She deliberately closed it before leaving the cabin. Thus, it can be seen that the belongings in the suitcase are very important to her. So what does Yen Chu care about inside this suitcase? Well... Oh, I think we went all the way through all of this, and it turned out... I think there was a couple of somewhat interesting ones in here. I think it was just the cards, though? This deck of poker cards was originally in the hands of Madame Yen. I remember Madame Yen was shambling while holding poker cards. Yen Chu looked unhappy. Yet after the murder occurred, it appeared inside this suitcase. Miss Yen Chu, you were the one who placed them, correct? You did not wish for the others to see this deck of poker cards, so you closed the suitcase. That's a bit of a joke. How could my sister kill someone over some poker cards? I brought the poker cards over. If you look close enough, you'll discover something out of the ordinary about these cards. See, now you can notice that they have these little hats that we saw that are tied into, like, the magic act or whatever. And I think it took me a little bit of thought process, but I think it's a turnout that the cards are marked or something like that. In the suitcase have a hat pattern on the back that seemed to have seen somewhere before. I believe this piece of evidence will show everyone the true purpose of this deck of cards. Save. Present evidence. I'm assuming it's this. It's either this one or it's this one, because those are the only things that have to do with the hat or the cards, I would guess. Unless it's going to turn out to be the Mahjong pieces. The key lies in the pattern in the back of the cards. It's the symbol of Shanghai's famous magic organization, the Unique Magic Troupe. Huh? I knew it looked kind of familiar. I watched one of their shows called Telepathy a while ago. Tickets sold out easily. When the magician Unique Mo was performing Telepathy, he was using cards just like these. Good memory, Mr. Ling Shen. What does this magic organization has to do with the homicide case on board? Unless the magic organization is just a cover and they're actually pirates. That's actually amazing.
That's possible. Other than Madame Yen, this Shocker, Old Ling, and Shipman Hao Chu were also killed. There's no reason for Yen Chu to kill them.
Miss Yen Chu's motives may relate to this evidence. This? Yeah, the Magic Group's financial crisis, I think, technically. Okay, that's not... I stolen Madame Yen's hairpin. Crap. It's... Yeah, that's the navigation log, not the ledger. So it's probably... It's got to be one of these two. I think it's this one. Speaking of motives, because she has something to do... Since she has the cards, she has something to do with the magic troupe, I think what we finally came up with. Speaking of motives, I'm afraid money is still involved. No, that's not true. My sister had always been well provided for, and her father left her a large sum of money. There's no way she would kill someone for money. What if she could lose her right to inheritance? What do you mean? Indeed, Miss Yanshu may not need the money. But the unique magic troupe does. This is a newspaper clipping found next to Old Ling's bed. The magic troupe faces crippling financial crisis. Shanghai trip becomes Swan Song trip. The props used in magic performances are rarely given to outsiders. Since the poker cards used by the unique magic troupe appear near Yanshu, this indicates that she has a rather close connection with the magic troupe. Now, the magic troupe is in financial crisis in need of funds. No way. Father never liked these Westerner things. You can't spend our family money on this. Yanshu, you better shape up. Those who violate family rules will be deprived of their inheritance rights. I speculate that the conflict between Madame Yan and Yanshu may have originated from this. The conversation Afu witnessed was not about poker, but about the inheritance. It's obvious Yin Zhao was after Yanshu's cut. Mr. Shin, what about Old Ling and Hao Chu? How do they fit in? Old Ling used to be a guard for the Woos. I found the newspaper clipping next to his bed. He seemed concerned with how the Woos were doing lately and he was in need of money. Say no more. Perhaps Old Ling and Madame Yin conspired together and threatened Yanshu. I've seen Uncle Ling speak with Yanshu in private before. As for Hao Chu, we still cannot confirm the cause of his death. That'll get some cola water in there, though. Therefore, I have yet to make a definitive conclusion. Perhaps he was an accident that could be used, or a witness that was silenced. What about the mahjong cards each of us found on our person? The rest of us has nothing to do with this. Now we do. I presume the mahjong cards were recovered to create the facade of a legendary murder. It would be easier for the murderer to get away if everyone has fallen into chaos. The actual target should be the 3 people who have already been murdered. Joseph, do you have any basis for your deduction? Mahjong cards were placed next to the victims after their death. Everyone else's cards were found on their person. But how did Yanshu put the cards on us? Should not be difficult for Miss Yanshu to place the cards on each of us. Are you saying my sister practices magic? Pshaw, it's bad luck to even talk about something vulgar like that. There's no way the Wu family could be connected with magic and witchcraft. The way I see it, all these bad things happening on board are cursed from that magic troupe. Shut your mouth. I wanted to talk about it a long time ago. It's not a big deal. I'm a member of the Unique Magic Troupe. I go by the stage name Julia. My boyfriend is Unique Mo, the magician. Huh? Julia? You mean Unique's attractive assistant? That's right, it's me, your sister. You, as a lady from a respectable family, you make a fool of yourself dressed like that. Also, what do you mean by boyfriend? Without parental permission or a matchmaker, you went and eloped on your own? Woman's World has long advocated for freedom of marriage and love. Shut up! Where did you learn that filth? You're making Father turn in his grave. Father told me that he sent me to study abroad because he didn't want me to be trapped. He said that I should broaden my horizons and see the world. I don't know what honeyed words you said to make Father leave you so much money. But you violated family rules. As an immoral and indecent woman, you lose inheritance rights. Master Wu, everything you just said cannot even be compared to magic. That is what I truly love, what I pursue as a career. I enjoy the spotlight, the stage, the amazed looks on the faces of the audience. I also have a group of friends who share my dream. For them, I'm willing to give up everything. Okay, very well. Once we get home, I'll immediately call for a family meeting. You won't be getting a single penny. Enough. Whether or not Miss Yanchu has inheritance rights are the internal affairs of the Woos. But tonight, in this dining hall, there is a serial homicide case that needs to be solved. Therefore, Miss Yanchu, are you willing to honestly disclose what you've been through? Fine. Testimony: the true experiences of Yin Chu. Yin Zhao went through my suitcase and took out my poker cards, so we argued. When I asked for the cards back, she refused and told me to leave. I stayed at the bow of the ship for a while, then went back, only to find her dead. My cards were in her hand and all over the floor, so I put them away to avoid trouble. That's all I can say. I won't go into details about the things I've already talked about. I don't know anything about what Mr. Shen said either. So you're really saying you don't admit you're the murderer? I wasn't the one who killed her. John, although your reasoning can be justified, there is indeed no clear evidence to prove that Miss Yin Chu is the murderer. Miss Yin Chu, may I ask you a few more questions? Go on. About the power outage. What were you doing the moment the power outage occurred? Putting away the cards and closing the suitcase? If it weren't for the power outage, I would have definitely noticed her sleeve. Miss Yin Chu, may I ask you a few more questions? About the body. There's a question you have never given a direct answer to. If you realized that Madame Yin was dead, why did you not report it immediately? At the time, I really was scared senseless, and I didn't know how to handle the situation. When you first discovered the body, you were shocked, but you remained silent. Yet you scrambled out in fear when you saw it the second time with Ling Xin. Why is that? The girl who would scream at a sight like that is the Wu Yanchu that Ling Xin knew. Miss Yanchu, may I ask you a few more questions? About the Mahjong cards, which is really the oddest part of this so far. Were you the one who placed a Mahjong card inside the suitcase, Miss Yanchu? My answer is yes. How would you reason, Mr. Shen? It depends on what else you say. So, is that your final answer? You can be the judge of that, Mr. Shen.
Maybe he's grunting a little bit.
Mr. Shin, why don't you take a break? After all this talk, the two gentlemen should have a rest. I agree. Work hard, play hard. That's a terrible thing to say right now. The two are resting. What do we do when Yanshu goes crazy and hurts someone again? Master Wu, Mr. Shen already said that Miss Yanshu won't hurt anyone anymore. Maybe it's best that we tie her up first? What do you mean by that, Wu Timen? I'm only looking out for everyone's safety. What do you say, Shipmaster Liu? Well, it is necessary to take precautions. Do what you must. I'm sorry, Miss Yanshu. We don't have a choice. Snob. On the bow deck of the ship over 10 minutes later, I think? I don't like that his fist pumps every time he speaks. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a weird animation to him. Because even when he's saying something that doesn't really fit that animation, it causes it to like... Or I guess every time he does that animation, even when it doesn't fit, it makes it seem like he's like excited for it, even though he's actually angry or whatever. So it really throws some kind of weird energy on him. I remember when I was going through this the first time, I kept thinking he was involved somehow with what was going on because, and I mean, I guess spoilers, he's not that involved. Because his weird energy all the time, I was really thinking he was involved with this because he wanted part of the family money. Like the two of them were working together. Yanshu and him were working together to kill the other one so that they could get the inheritance. He'd use the money to go on his world tour, and then she would use the money to put into the mystery magic troupe or whatever, the unique magic troupe, and then they could both do their things, right? That's where I thought this was going. I guess we'll see in the next where it ends up, but that was my guess. That's what I felt like was going on. And I think we're almost done. Where are we at right now? Yeah, we're almost done. Because I think we finished up this little section and got to the back of the boat, and then we saved. Frog over the River doesn't seem like it'd clear up anytime soon. Now that we're short-handed, we'll have to wait until tomorrow to continue on our way. Of course, safety is our utmost importance. Is of utmost importance. It's almost midnight. You and Mr. Joseph should go rest and carry on the interrogations tomorrow. With Ling Xin and El keeping an eye on Yin Chu, nothing can go wrong. Hurry to the dining hall to meet Mr. Joseph. You both should take a rest as well. Master Wu, there really isn't anything else on the ship that can be used as an offering. Mr. Joseph, Mr. Shen, please talk some sense into Mr. Wu. He's going to feed our food to the fishes again. What celestial being are you worshipping, Mr. Temen? I'm telling you, Yanshu must have been bewitched to be able to do such a thing. I need to beg the Loon King underwater to give her a way out. Ling Xin stocked up on some...
Long
It's gaining a second and a half every time you play it. Ling Xin stocked up on some sardines to make stargazy pie. You could go ask him for some to give Mr. Wu. Mr. Joseph. Go on, then. I knew I could rely on Mr. Joseph to be reasonable and fair. By the way, Mr. Wu, we need to preserve Miss Yin Chu's suitcase as evidence. As for the money and Yin Chu's personal belongings inside the suitcase, I'll handle it.
Well, is that a... maybe, I don't know, that's a good idea.
After all, those things ultimately belong to the Wu family. Well, in terms of evidence, we will need the suitcase and the poker cards. Of course, no problem. I almost forgot, we also need the Mahjong card in Yin Chu's suitcase, the 8 of characters. Yeah, this is the real big weird one. Those Mahjong cards in the box, were they left by you, Miss Yin Chu? If I answer yes, how would Mr. Shin reason it out? Well, you couldn't, I guess. Kind of at the end of that last investigation thing. Long, yeah.
No, this can't be.
Looks like someone's caught it a misconception. I love the mind demon guy or whatever. I overlooked the fact that the suitcase belongs to Yin Chu. The 8 of characters shouldn't have appeared there. But such are the facts. Why? Why? It was careless. Someone else did it. Well, I mean, if Yin Chu was lying? Could it be that Yin Chu lied? She was not the one who placed the card? If that were the case, then why would she admit it? Think back on where the Mahjong card was located. I already said that it was inside Yin Chu's suitcase. The specific location. To the side of the suitcase on top of a yellow dress. Yellow? It was surrounded by poker cards, as well as a blue pouch. Be more specific. The Mahjong card was placed in between 2 poker cards, which proves that Yin Chu placed the Mahjong card within the suitcase when she was putting away the poker cards because of the sudden power outage, which also proves that it was there before she came back. The person who left the Mahjong card at the scene of the crime was not Yin Chu. The murderer is someone else. Dun, dun, dun! Joseph, Mr. T-Man, back to the dining hall. What's wrong? I've wrongfully accused Yin Chu. The true culprit is still at large. Let's go. She gathered everyone back in the dining hall and shared his deduction. on. Logically speaking, your analysis just now indeed rule out Yen Shu as a suspect. Okay, well, we're now past where I thought... We're now past where the next episode picks up. So this is where we're good to pause. Because I think we ended on the boat about to talk to everyone. I think that's where we ended last time, so... Fine. What? There's no reason to replay this. You can go watch this. You'll be able to watch this in, like, a week. You'll be able to go watch what happened. Hurry and upload that. It's already uploaded. I'm trying to stagger these out like an actual honest-to-God YouTube channel. All right? If I just upload
Get back to work, you slacker.
I am doing a bonus stream to make sure that the story is brought to everyone. Come on, get to work. Okay, all right. So we'll save here then. We'll save here, and then everyone can go over to the other thing. Do you really want... Okay, what I'll do then, if you're so distraught with this, I'll try to get this edited tonight, and I'll get it uploaded, and I will, I guess, do 2 days of Murder on the Yangtze River so that you can see this, everyone. And you can also, I guess technically it would be tomorrow, you can watch... I'm going to have to rearrange the videos now. Oh, man. Then you'll be also able to watch the next bit of this after this section. Oh, no, it's fine. Keep your darn schedule. It's fine. I play around with the schedule a little bit anyway, so... I will go to the YouTube now. Okay. We'll get this other save in here. Over this one, I guess. All right. I don't know if I'll need to come back to this for some reason, but if I do, it's here. But yeah, shout outs to all the YouTube people who are going to be kind of confused on why the next episode is like slightly off. It's because this is we had to go back and re-record this section, but it's worth it for you, beautiful, beautiful board members, and you, beautiful board members in chat. Thank you all so much for stopping by. This bonus recovery stream, it's worth it. I think the story and stuff in Murder on the Yangtze River is worth it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that's an update about... Oh. Okay, yeah, there's an update about, like, I think the DLC being on sale or something. Oh, God, he forgot to thank somebody. Thank you, Long Long Man, for helping us.
Long man.
Are helping us with this investigation, and oh my God, that timing was perfect. Thank you all for stopping by for this little bonus stream, little makeup stream. The lurkers, thank you. You have the Twitch world go around. We always appreciate you. Anybody that checks the VODs here on Twitch, checks the VODs in the YouTube repository, also greatly appreciated. Seeing those numbers helps keep me motivated. If you need a well thought out solution, you need a thinking solution. Raven Hilbrick Inc. Thinking Solutions. And I think that's going to be it. A nice little catch-up stream. Again, I appreciate you all stopping by and hanging out for this makeup stream. And yeah, I think that'll be it. Yeah. Bye!